Chapter 131, Criminal. Are you referring to me? 2. Relax, I won't forget you. How can I not use the labor that comes knocking on my door? Elder Chiu, should we leave at night or tomorrow morning? Leng Ruoxue wanted to set the time so that she could make other arrangements. Let's go tomorrow morning. Elder Chiu said after some thought. Then let's have a good meal tonight. Tomorrow, I'll get Quill to take us back to Phoenix City, Leng Ruoxue said generously. Now, she just wanted to go home quickly and then prepare to cultivate properly. Hee, isn't that too much trouble? How can I accept this? Elder Chiu said with a smile, his expression not the slightest bit embarrassed. Since you're embarrassed, treat us tonight. Leng Ruoxue glanced at Elder Chiu lightly. Then she gave Freak a look and left the reception room. Don't. I'm joking. Elder Chiu chased after them. How could he have the money? Boo-hoo, isn't this killing me? In the evening, more than 30 people from the Heavenly Phoenix Academy gathered in the reception room. They chose this place to have dinner mainly because it was big enough and no one would come to disturb them. Wow! Miss, there's so much food tonight. Miss, I really love you to death. Feng De was beside himself with joy. He hadn't eaten such sumptuous food in a long time. What did you say? A cold voice sounded behind Feng De, startling him into breaking out in cold sweat. And nothing. Hee, Deputy Leader Yi, you heard wrongly. I didn't say anything at all. Feng De waved his hand in denial. Boo-hoo. I was too excited and forgot about Deputy Leader Yi's jealousy. I heard it. He said he loves the girl to death, a shiny purple butterfly said very honestly as it flew over. You heard it wrong, you damn butterfly. Feng De felt hatred in his heart. Why does this fellow like adding oil to the fires so much? I didn't hear it wrong. He really said it, the butterfly emphasized. Freak, what are you doing? Come and help quickly, Leng Ruoxue said unhappily. Everyone else was helping, but they still had the time to chat. Coming, Schwer. Coming, miss. I'm coming too, girl, the butterfly mimicked them both. What are you doing here? I didn't call you. Go play somewhere else, Leng Ruoxue said disdainfully to the butterfly that flew to her side. This little fellow had only followed her for less than a day, but it had given her a lot of trouble. Girl, how can you dislike me? The butterfly said sadly, tears welling up in its small black eyes, looking extremely aggrieved. Because you only know how to cause trouble. Leng Ruoxue said bluntly. She really didn't know where this butterfly had learned its bad habits. Take today as an example. When she strolled the streets with Freak, the butterfly insisted on following. But whenever it saw a woman with a bit of beauty, it would tease her, and it had even lifted the skirts of several women. Moreover, it even complained that some of their figures weren't good. She really wanted to strangle it at the time. I'm telling the truth. It was an honest butterfly. Was it wrong to tell the truth? You are a sprite. What does a woman's beauty and good figure have anything to do with you? Leng Ruoxue asked. When she had time, she had to teach this lecherous butterfly what it could and couldn't say. But women are meant to be looked at by men. The butterfly didn't think that it was wrong to be picky about women. That was what the elders at the Lunar Shadow Academy had told it. Which bastard taught you this? Who said that women are meant to be looked at by men? I say that men are meant to be looked at by women. Leng Ruoxue was angry. This is too disrespectful to women. Besides, are you a man? Leng Ruoxue asked. My mentality is that of a man, the butterfly stressed. Although it didn't have a gender yet, it would have one when it grew up, and it had already decided to be male. So. Behave yourself now, or else I won't let you follow me. Leng Ruoxue gave an ultimatum to this unrepentant butterfly. Oh. The butterfly nodded reluctantly. This is so unfair. It's not my fault for having such high standards. Boo-hoo. I just have good taste. Swear, everything is ready. We can eat now. Fong Moran walked over. Okay. Elder Chiu, do you have anything you want to say to everyone? Leng Ruoxue asked when she saw that everyone was seated. In addition to the 30-odd students, everyone had also released their spirit beasts, so the entire reception room was basically full. Then let me say a few words. It's all thanks to everyone's efforts that our academy was able to achieve such good results in this year's academy competition. I thank everyone on behalf of the academy. Let me toast everyone. Elder Chiu said very emotionally, then raised his wine cup and drained it in one gulp. Great, Elder Chiu. Another cup, someone hooted. Okay. Elder Chiu finished another cup. His round cheeks were already red after 2 cups. Okay, stop getting Elder Chiu to drink. Leng Ruoxue knew that Elder Chiu couldn't hold his liquid well and quickly stopped everyone. We're leaving tomorrow. Everyone, drink less, Fong Moran said. It had been a long time since they gathered like this, so they were a little too excited. Don't worry, Deputy Leader Fong. Everyone knows, Fong De said quickly. Everyone chatted and ate. The meal finally came to an end very late at night. Moreover, some students were drunk and even fell asleep on the floor of the reception room. Don't we need to care about them? Leng Ruoxue asked worriedly while looking at the people lying on the floor. Don't worry about it. They're all men. What does it matter if they sleep on the floor for a night? Freak had no sympathy. Then let's go to bed. It's late, Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. Her grandfather and the others had already returned to their rooms to rest. Okay. The next morning, Leng Ruoxue came to the reception room and saw that everyone who was drunk the previous night had woken up. Moreover, they looked to be in good spirits. It seemed like the constitution of spiritualists was indeed different. Chapter 132, Criminal. Are you referring to me? 3. Pack up and get ready to set off, Leng Ruoxue reminded. Miss, we packed up yesterday morning, Lin Yuan said. They wouldn't have dared to get drunk last night otherwise. Then go and settle the bill. Ask everyone to gather downstairs, Leng Ruoxue ordered. She took out an amethyst card and handed it to Lin Yuan. Okay. After leaving the reception room, Leng Ruoxue went straight to her grandfather's room. Grandpa, are you ready? We're leaving, Leng Ruoxue said after knocking on the door. Ready. Leng Qingtian opened the door. Then Leng Ruoxue called her brother and Freak. They met Fong Moran in the corridor and went downstairs together. After arriving downstairs, Leng Ruoxue and the group from the Heavenly Phoenix Academy were surrounded by officers and soldiers. What's the meaning of this? Leng Ruoxue pushed aside the crowd. The cold light in her eyes was intimidating, and killing intent flashed past. By the decree of noble Consort Su, we are here to arrest the criminal who harmed the princess, an officer who looked like the leader said very formally. Criminal? Are you referring to me? Leng Ruoxue said indifferently with a light smile. No wonder noble Consort Su hadn't done anything the past few days. So she was waiting for the academy competition to end. The person we're going to arrest is Leng Ruoxue, the officer said calmly. He knew that Leng Ruoxue wasn't to be trifled with, but he dared to go to the Elegance Lagoon Pavilion to capture her because of noble Consort Su's support. Does the Emperor of the Southern Dusk Empire know that you're here to arrest me? Leng Ruoxue asked. The imperial decree of the noble consort is of course His Majesty's will, the officer said while forcing himself to be calm, but his words weren't confident. Is that so? I really didn't know that this is the way the Southern Dusk Empire treats guests. Everyone here has their own opinions about what happened that day. Think of a better reason if you want to arrest me. What Leng Ruoxue implied was that it was impossible to make her stay with such a reason. Grandpa, Elder Chiu, let's go. Leng Ruoxue said, ignoring the soldiers surrounding them. It was really unbecoming of her status to bicker with such a small fry. Okay. No one cared about such a small character. None of you are allowed to leave. Arrest all of them, the officer hurriedly ordered when he saw that he couldn't keep them any longer. Noble consort Su wouldn't let him go if this matter went wrong. Leng Ruoxue impatiently raised her white hand, and a huge stream of fire attributes spiritual power flew toward the officers and soldiers. Immediately, they were all sent flying several meters away, and their bodies were burning with purplish-red flames. Aha! Aha! They screamed in pain as they rolled on the ground. Miss Leng, we're so sorry for startling you, Huang Fulian apologized as he walked to Leng Ruoxue. What? Your Highness the Crown Prince is also here to capture me? Leng Ruoxue said mockingly. Of course not. I'm here on Imperial Father's orders to see Miss Leng off, Huang Fulian quickly said. Alas! Imperial Mother was right. Miss Leng is really angry. Your Southern Dusk Imperial family is really interesting. The Imperial Consort wants to arrest me, but the Emperor wants to send me off. Who is the decision-maker in the end? Leng Ruoxue asked with curiosity and puzzlement on her face, seemingly wanting to know more. Of course it's my Imperial Father. Cold sweat rolled down Huang Fulian's forehead. His Imperial Father would be so angry if he heard this. Oh, that's good. Then can we go now? Leng Ruoxue asked. Of course you can. I'll send you off, Huang Fulian said with a gentle smile on his face. Grandpa, we can go now. With the Crown Prince protecting us, we don't have to be afraid. I don't think anyone will dare to stop us, Leng Ruoxue said to Ling Qingtian with an innocent expression. That's good. Grandpa is getting old, and I really can't take being scared, Ling Qingtian said very cooperatively while pretending to touch his heart. Everyone was flabbergasted upon hearing this. Please, you are a spiritual supremacy. I've never heard of a spiritual supremacy being scared. Grandpa, don't be scared. The Crown Prince will protect us, Leng Ruoxue comforted. Yes. Swear, let's go quickly. Otherwise, who knows what might come and stop us later, Ling Qingtian said fearfully, as though he couldn't wait to leave right away. Then let's go. Freak stepped forward and held Ling Qingshan's arm. Wait. Wait for me. Just as everyone was about to leave, they heard someone shouting in the distance. There really was something else. Hearing this voice, everyone couldn't help but worry in their hearts. Even General Leng was about to become a diviner. A flying spirit beast landed beside them, and Hu Qing jumped off. Wait for me. I'll go with you, Hu Qing said while panting slightly. Why are you following us? We don't welcome you, Freak roared while cursing Hu Qing in his heart. This person is too annoying. Hu Qing ignored Yi Chen's unfriendly demeanor and said with a faint smile, I will also be a student of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy in the future. Of course I have to go with you. What? Freak was angry. He couldn't stay calm anymore. Why does this guy keep haunting us? He was so angry. I've decided to transfer to the Heavenly Phoenix Academy. Elder Qiu, may I? Hu Qing directly asked Elder Qiu, ignoring a certain person's anger. You have to ask the principal. I'm only an elder, so it's not up to me. Besides, will the Rising Dragon Academy agree to it? Elder Qiu said spinelessly under Yi Chen's threatening glare. Boo-hoo. I'm just an elder. Why make things difficult for me? Ruoxue, you will welcome me, right? Hu Qing set his sights on Leng Ruoxue. He wanted to transfer schools because of her. No, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Why? Hu Qing was a little confused. Am I that unpopular? Moreover, Yi Chen's smug expression made him uncomfortable. Chapter 133, Criminal. Are you referring to me? 4. You're too troublesome. Leng Ruoxue said while looking at the sky. Another flying spirit beast descended. Big Brother Qing, wait for me. Shui Xinran immediately stuck to Hu Qing's side as soon as she got off the spirit beast. Why did you follow me? Hu Qing said with some displeasure. Shui Xinran looked at Hu Qing aggrievedly, tears welling up in her eyes. Let's go. Leng Ruoxue said to everyone. She really wasn't interested in such a drama. Everyone soon left the lunar capital. Your Highness, please return. Leng Ruoxue said very courteously to Huang Fuyan at the city gate, and then she let Quill out. Okay, then I'm going back. Huang Fuyan held in his amazement as he looked at the enormous flying spirit beast. Seeing that everyone was already sitting on Quill's back, Leng Ruoxue sat on him as well. Quill, let's go. Yes, Master. Quill slowly flew up and disappeared into the sky with a strong gust of wind. Huang Fuyan stood foolishly outside the city gate for a while until he could no longer see the shadow of the spirit beast. Then he turned around and walked back. Crown Prince, where are the people from the Heavenly Phoenix Academy? Hu Qing stopped Huang Fuyan at the city gate. Already gone. How long ago? There's no need to chase. You can't catch up, Huang Fuyan said kindly. But before he could finish speaking, he saw Hu Qing release his spirit beast and fly away. In the imperial study of the Imperial Palace of the Southern Dusk Empire. Your Majesty, I just wanted to avenge you. Noble Consort Su knelt in front of the Emperor's desk, weeping uncontrollably. Her appearance was truly endearing. I told you that we have to consider this matter at length. Have you forgotten? Huang Fuzhen said furiously. But they're leaving today. I was anxious, so. Please don't take issue with me on the account that I love our daughters so much, Your Majesty. Noble Consort Su pleaded. But in her heart, she was cursing the Emperor to death. Humph. What a useless man. He doesn't even dare to provoke Leng Ruoxue and has concerns about this and that. I hate him so much. You want to stop them from leaving? Do you want to offend the Heavenly Phoenix Academy and the Artificer Association? Huang Fuzhen roared. The Artificer Association had already informed all the top factions that Leng Ruoxue was an important guest of their Artificer Association. I know my mistake. Confine Noble Consort Su to the Soaring Phoenix Hall. No one is allowed to see her without my consent, Huang Fuzhen ordered the eunuch beside him. Yes, Your Majesty. After the eunuch brought Noble Consort Su away, the Emperor was the only one left in the imperial study. Empress, you can come out now. Your Majesty, are we just going to let this matter rest? The Empress asked in puzzlement as she emerged from the secret room. What else can we do? The Su family is ambitious, and now is not the time to do anything to her. Huang Fuzhen shook his head, looking helpless. Empress, do you think Leng Ruoxue will? Huang Fuzhen was worried. Probably not. I've already sent Lianer. Hopefully, nothing big happens. The Empress was also very worried. Empress, there won't be any big trouble. That girl Leng Ruoxue will never suffer a loss. I'm just worried that she might think that it was my idea. Huang Fuzhen was a little uncertain. That girl was too smart. Your Majesty, I've said it before. We can only be on good terms with Leng Ruoxue. The people of the Leng family don't like to be used by others, so if we want to cooperate with her, we have to show our sincerity, the Empress said with certainty. You're right, Empress. Your Majesties the Emperor and Empress, His Highness the Crown Prince has returned to the palace, a eunuch reported. Imperial Father, Imperial Mother, embark. Huang Fuyan walked into the imperial study and bowed. Lianer, there wasn't any big trouble, right? The Empress hurriedly asked, her expression exceptionally nervous. I guess not. Huang Fuyan didn't know how to explain it to his parents. He couldn't say that Leng Ruoxue was already a little unhappy. But Imperial Father, the young master of the Hu family, Hu Qing, plans to study at the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, Huang Fuyan said after some thought. Hu Qing wants to go to the Heavenly Phoenix Academy. Huang Fuzhen was in disbelief. The relationship between the Hu family and the Rising Dragon Academy was extraordinary, yet Hu Qing wanted to study at the Heavenly Phoenix Academy. Would the Hu family and the Rising Dragon Academy agree? Yes. Moreover, Hu Qing has already chased after the people from the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, Huang Fuyan added. Empress, what do you think? Huang Fuyan turned to the Empress beside him. Your Majesty, in my opinion, Hu Qing is most likely targeting Leng Ruoxue, the Empress said cautiously with a slight frown. She had heard that the Hu family proposed marriage to Leng Ruoxue, but she rejected them. Could it be true? Thinking of this, she was a little hesitant. Your Majesty, should we let our son study at the Heavenly Phoenix Academy as well? The Empress suggested. Huang Fuyan hesitated. If Lianer went to the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, the Lunar Shadow Academy would definitely be displeased, and he didn't want to fall out with the Academy yet. Your Majesty, with the Hu family around, we can't count on the Lunar Shadow Academy at all. Instead, we might as well put all our efforts on Leng Ruoxue, the Empress said understandingly. She knew the concerns in the Emperor's heart, but she believed that Leng Ruoxue was their best choice. All right, let's do as you say, Empress. Huang Fuyan trusted the Empress very much. He knew that only the Empress cared for him wholeheartedly in this world. Lianer, prepare to go to the Heavenly Phoenix Academy as well. Huang Fuyan showed the demeanor of an emperor and was full of boldness. There was no need to hesitate since he had already decided. Yes, Imperial Father. At an altitude of 10,000 meters in the sky, Leng Ruoxue and the others had been flying for nearly 2 days. Shuer, are you tired? Freak took the initiative to pull Shuer into his arms and let her lie against him while taking some advantage of her. I'm not tired. It's Quill that's tired. Leng Ruoxue's beautiful face was full of heartache and concern. Quill had been flying for 2 days and refused to rest. Fortunately, they were almost at Phoenix City. Chapter 134, Uninvited Guests. 1. Master, I'm not tired. Quill was in a good mood and said honestly upon hearing his master's concern. He was a flying beast, and flying was his instinct, so how could he be tired? Moreover, he had his master's pills, so flying was very easy. Master, divine beasts aren't so weak. You don't have to worry too much, Charm, lying in Leng Ruoxue's arms, comforted. He knew that his master cherished them beasts, and they also cherished her. Quill knew that his master wanted to go back early, so he didn't want to stop. Leng Ruoxue gently caressed Charm's soft and smooth fur and relaxed her heart. She knew that her beasts were all very strong, but no matter how strong they were still her beasts. Moreover, in her heart, her beasts were as important as her family. Master, we've entered the borders of the Eastern Lagoon Empire, Quill said as he looked down. Quill, thanks for your hard work. Master, it's okay. We'll be home in a few hours. Then Quill accelerated and flew at full speed. Elder Chiu, are there any arrangements by the Academy after we return? Leng Ruoxue's beautiful eyes glanced at the excited Elder Chiu. I really don't know why this old man is so excited. I have to go back and ask the principal. I don't know either. Elder Chiu scratched his head, slightly embarrassed. Oh. I thought the principal already made plans. Elder Chiu, Hu Qing wants to come to the Heavenly Phoenix Academy. What do you think about this matter? Leng Ruoxue asked again. That Hu Qing is really troublesome. I think he's here for you. As soon as Elder Chiu finished speaking, he immediately felt a cold glare shooting at him, and he couldn't help but shrink his neck. Boo-hoo. I'm telling the truth. Why are you scaring me like this? Elder Chiu felt aggrieved. I am a spiritual supremacy. How can I actually be afraid of my own student? Boo-hoo. Well, you're right. He's treating me as a sparring partner. Leng Ruoxue was depressed thinking of it. Was I asking for it? Shuer, what should we do then? Freak's eyes burned with jealousy, and he wanted to extinguish the fire in them right away. Freak, I will focus on cultivating after I go back. I shouldn't be going to the academy anymore, Leng Ruoxue said comfortingly after thinking. Oh, then I have to focus on cultivating too, Freak quickly said. But he was still very happy when he heard Shuer say that she wouldn't go to the academy. Humph. Hua Qing can keep his wishful thinking to himself. Lass, how can you not go to the academy? Our academy can't live without you. Elder Chiu couldn't help feeling a little anxious when he heard Leng Ruoxue say that she wouldn't go to the academy anymore. Elder Chiu, my main purpose for going to the academy was to compete in the academy competition. Now that I've completed my task, there's naturally no need for me to go to the academy. Moreover, do you think there's anything the academy can teach me? Leng Ruoxue raised her beautiful eyes slightly and glanced at Elder Chiu lightly. Lass, you'd better tell the principal yourself. Elder Chiu was helpless. Hopefully, the principal can persuade her to stay. Okay, I'll tell Grandpa Lin. Master, we're at Phoenix City, Quill reminded after flying for a few more hours. Quill, find a place to let them down. Leng Ruoxue ordered. Everyone was tired, so they should go home and have a good rest. Yes, Master. Quill found a wide and flat place to land. Miss? Lu Yan and the others were bewildered. Go home and have a good rest. 3 days later, come to the general's mansion to look for me. I have other arrangements, Leng Ruoxue explained while looking at the rich expressions on everyone's faces. She couldn't help finding it funny. Do these people think that they've been abandoned? Yes, Mississippi. Lu Yan and the others were overjoyed. They thought that their young lady didn't want them anymore. Quill, let's go home. Leng Ruoxue said with her pink lips after watching Lu Yan, Elder Chiu, and the others leave. A moment later, Quill descended in the garden of the general's mansion. Old Master, Miss, and Young Master are back, a servant shouted excitedly when he saw them. Old Master, Miss, Young Master. The steward hurriedly ran out of his room after hearing the shout. Steward, what is this? Leng Qingtian asked in puzzlement. We've only been away for a month. Is there a need to be so excited? He had often been away for months, but they hadn't been so enthusiastic when he returned. Hee, Old Master, Miss is in the limelight this time. Now, there are many more people visiting our general's mansion, the butler said excitedly, as if he was the one in the limelight. The people of Phoenix City found out so quickly. The news spread really quickly. It had only been around 4 days. We've known about it for a few days. Oh right, Master, the Emperor also sent people to say that he wants to hold a banquet for Miss and the others to celebrate. The butler began to report one by one. Grandpa, let's go back to our rooms to have a good night's sleep. Let's talk after we wake up, Leng Ruoxue reminded while glancing at the steward, who was in a hurry to report. They hadn't had a good rest for the past 3 days. Shuer is right. Everyone, go back to your rooms and rest. Leng Qingtian waved his hand, displaying his prestige as a general. After hearing what Leng Qingtian said, everyone returned to their rooms. Even Freak was very obedient and didn't pester Shuer to chat with him. Steward, let's go to my study. Leng Qingtian said to the stunned steward. Old Master, you should go back to your room to rest first. These are trivial matters. There's no hurry, the steward said awkwardly. Leng Qingtian glared at the steward imperiously. No hurry. No hurry, and yet you reported in the garden? Then he turned and walked to his room. After Leng Ruoxue and the others had a good night's sleep, it was already afternoon the next day when she woke up. Leng Ruoxue got up, washed up, and left her room. Grandpa. Leng Ruoxue walked into the study. Only her grandfather and the steward were here. Chapter 135, Uninvited Guests, 2, Shuer, you're awake. Leng Qingshan's mood immediately improved when he saw his precious granddaughter. Grandpa, why didn't you sleep a little more? Leng Ruoxue said with displeasure. Grandpa just came back. Why didn't he rest well? Hee, Grandpa is used to it and can't stay idle, Ling Qingtian said with a fawning face. He didn't want his granddaughter to be angry with him. Grandpa, is there something important? Leng Ruoxue noticed that her grandfather didn't look too good. It's okay. Grandpa will take care of it. Ling Qingtian didn't want his granddaughter to worry about him. Grandpa, you have to tell me if anything happens. Leng Ruoxue reminded. She really wanted to share the burden with her grandfather, but he refused to tell her, and she couldn't force him. Hee, don't worry. Grandpa won't be polite with you if there's really something that I can't solve, Ling Qingtian promised. Okay, Grandpa. Shuer is hungry. Go eat with me. Leng Ruoxue hugged her grandfather's arm affectionately. All right. Ling Qingtian and his granddaughter entered the dining room, only to find that they were the last to arrive. You stinky brats aren't as caring as my precious granddaughter. Ling Qingtian put on a stern face and pretended to be displeased. Grandpa, that's because we all know that Shuer would look for you. Leng Ruhan hurriedly stood up and walked to Leng Qingshan's side to curry favor. Yes, Grandpa. Aren't we all waiting for you? How can we dare to eat if you don't come? Freak came over as well, his beautiful face full of flattery. Hee, you stinky brats, I'm just teasing you. You must be hungry, right? Hurry up and eat. Then the two of them sat down in their respective seats. By the way, what do you think of the banquet in the Imperial Palace? Leng Qingtian asked his granddaughter and the others after breakfast. I don't want to go. Leng Ruoxue was the first to express her opinion. The Imperial Palace was too dark, and she didn't know what the Emperor was thinking, so it was better not to have anything to do with him. I'll listen to Shuer. Freak followed Shuer in everything. He was the 24-hour-day exemplary obedient fiancé. Grandpa, I don't want to go either. Leng Ruhan's handsome face looked thoughtful. What about you? Leng Qingtian turned to Fengde and the others. Since Miss isn't going, we aren't going either, Fengde said without hesitation. The palace wasn't his cup of tea. No, they can choose not to go, but the few of you must, Ling Qingtian said domineeringly. Wouldn't they be disrespecting the emperor if they didn't go? He was still the empire's general after all. Why? Fengde said gloomily with a long face. Because if you don't go, no one will, Ling Qingtian said matter-of-factly. So they were just going to make up the numbers. General, socializing isn't my forte. Really, don't make me go. I might embarrass you, our elderly, Fengde said pitifully, almost crying. Elderly? Am I that old? Ling Qingtian glared at Fengde. No, you're not old at all. See. I'm not good at talking, so don't make me go. Seeing that the volcano was about to erupt, Fengde hurriedly put out the fire and gave a suggestion. You must go. General Leng made the final decision, leaving no room for resistance. Mississippi. Fengde looked at Leng Ruoxue with a bitter face. Be good and eat more for us. Leng Ruoxue patted Fengde's head and comforted him like she was comforting a puppy with a bright smile on her face. Freak, accompany me to the academy. Leng Ruoxue turned to Freak. She should go and see Grandpa Lin. Okay. It was already evening when they arrived at the Heavenly Phoenix Academy. They entered the academy and went straight to the principal's office. Grandpa Lin. Leng Ruoxue knocked on the door. Ruoxue, why are you here so late? Lin Liang was surprised to see Leng Ruoxue and Yi Chen. I have something to tell Grandpa Lin. Leng Ruoxue went straight to the point. Oh. Do you want to talk about not attending the academy? Elder Chiu had already reported to him after returning. Yes, we've finished our task. Our focus will be on cultivating from now on, so we shouldn't be going to the academy anymore, Leng Ruoxue said very tactfully. Yes, you should cultivate diligently. Lin Liang approved of this point. Moreover, he also knew that it was unlikely that this girl would be restrained by the academy. By the way, Ruoxue, Huaqing, Lin Liang looked awkward and hesitant to speak. Grandpa Lin, I know that he wants to transfer to the Heavenly Phoenix Academy. He's not the only one. There are others. Lin Liang was very helpless. Who else? Lin Ruoxue was puzzled. There's also Southern Dusk's Crown Prince Huang Fu Yan, Shui Xinran, Northern Frost's Princess Ximenya, and Yi Xiao. All of them want to transfer here, Lin Liang said with a slight headache. If the two best geniuses of the Rising Dragon Academy transferred to their academy, that old fellow at the Rising Dragon Academy would definitely hate him to death. Leng Ruoxue and Freak exchanged glances and said in unison, Grandpa Lin will have a way. I have no choice. He had a headache over this for the past 2 days. Ruoxue, Huaqing, and the others are here for you. You can't just leave them alone. Lin Liang looked expectantly at the cunning girl. Grandpa Lin, they didn't come for me. I'm not going to the academy anymore. Even if they came for me, there's nothing I can do. Leng Ruoxue made it clear that she was irresponsible and didn't want to care about this matter. Ruoxue, can you give Grandpa Lin a good idea? Lin Liang said expectantly. He really didn't want to take in those people. Taking them in would mean trouble, but not taking them in would. Grandpa Lin, as long as you can convince Huaqing, the others are nothing to fear, Leng Ruoxue reminded kindly. All right, I'll try. Lin Liang really had no other way. Oh, right. Grandpa Lin, did the Fu family and Vice Principal Chen do anything in the past month? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. Chapter 136, Uninvited Guests, 3, Qin Jian has been much more well-behaved recently. As for the Fu family, I heard they were robbed. Moreover, Fu Mingyuan has been looking for the whereabouts of Fu Mingzhu and the others, Lin Liang said after some thought. No one looked for trouble with Vice Principal Chen. Leng Ruoxue found it unbelievable. It seems he has a powerful background. A little at first, but they were all small families and didn't have much power. They became well-behaved after making a fuss once or twice, Lin Liang explained, knowing what Leng Ruoxue wanted to ask. Oh. Grandpa Lin, it's getting late. We're going to get going. Leng Ruoxue and Freak stood up and prepared to leave. All right. After leaving the principal's office, Leng Ruoxue and Freak walked along a quiet path toward the entrance of the academy. I want to talk to you, Su Nair said softly as she suddenly appeared in front of them. There's nothing much to talk about between us. Leng Ruoxue refused without hesitation, not even bothering to look at the pretentious Su Nair. I'm begging you. I really have something very important to discuss with you. Su Nair was so anxious that she was about to cry. Tears flashed in her eyes, and her pitiful appearance was really pitiful. Unfortunately, the two people in front of her were both hard-hearted. Get lost, Freak roared in displeasure. What does this woman want? Why is she so annoying like a fly? Senior brother Yi, I really want to have a good talk with Ruoxue. I mean no harm, Su Nair said aggrievedly as 2 streams of tears rolled down her cheeks. What do you want to talk about with me? Leng Ruoxue said impatiently, not wanting to see her continue acting. She actually wanted to know why Su Nair suddenly showed weakness, but she caught the viciousness and jealousy that flashed by in Su Nair's eyes. Ruoxue, I know that I did many things wrong in the past. Please forgive me and don't be angry with me anymore, Su Nair pleaded with a sincere expression on her face. What else? Continue, Leng Ruoxue urged. I won't snatch big brother you away from you anymore. Really, I promise that he will only belong to you from now on. I won't appear again. Woo woo, Su Nair said while sobbing. Nair, I won't allow you to say that. Suddenly, a furious roar sounded in their ears. Leng Ruoxue, I will never marry you. Give up on this idea. The 7th prince appeared by Su Nair's side like a white knight. He hugged Su Nair and glared at Leng Ruoxue fiercely. Seventh Prince, did you take the wrong medicine? Did I say I want to marry you? Leng Ruoxue frowned, a little annoyed. What are these two good-for-nothings doing? She didn't have time to watch them put on this star-crossed lovebirds act in front of her. Seventh Prince, Shuer is my fiancée. She has had nothing to do with you since a very long time ago. Stop flattering yourself, Freak said with displeasure, his eyes shooting out a sharp glare. Do you think you can still marry her now? The seventh prince looked at Yichen mockingly. What do you mean? Leng Ruoxue asked coldly. Miss Leng is now very popular, and ordinary people can't marry you, the seventh prince said a little unpleasantly. His words seemed to carry a tinge of jealousy, but even he didn't realize it. Big brother, you, don't talk about it anymore. I won't make things difficult for you, Su Nair said very understandingly. However, she hated Li Yu for coming out at this time to disrupt her plan. She secretly glanced at Yichen. Nair, I said before that I won't marry anyone but you. You have to believe me, Li Yu promised with a solemn expression on his face. Big brother, you, don't be like this. Nair isn't blessed. You just have to treat Ruoxue well in the future, Su Nair pleaded, but she kept shouting in her heart, agree. Agree now. As long as she could get rid of the seventh prince, she could shift her target to Yichen. She only wanted to marry this heavenly man now. Nair, I only want you. I don't want anyone else but you, Li Yu vowed solemnly. Take your time acting. We're leaving. Leng Ruoxue couldn't stand watching any longer. She directly summoned Quill, jumped onto his back with Freak, and flew away. The two of them stared blankly at the black eagle that suddenly appeared and didn't come to their senses for a long time. By the time they reacted, Leng Ruoxue and Yichen were long gone. Big brother, you'd better listen to your father. Let's not be together anymore. Su Nair only felt that she had nowhere to vent her anger, so her tone was especially cold. After speaking, she left without looking back. Nair, Li Yu watched Su Nair leave and couldn't help thinking of Leng Ruoxue, who was as dazzling as a goddess. He felt mixed emotions and was even more lost. After returning to the general's mansion, Leng Ruoxue and Freak immediately went to the study. Grandpa, what do you think about this? Leng Ruoxue asked Leng Qingtian after telling him what happened just now. Shuer, this was expected. It's not surprising. Leng Qingtian was very calm. Seems like the imperial family is eyeing Shuer again. Do they really think that Shuer is still the Shuer of the past? Seventh Prince Li Yu is no longer worthy of my precious granddaughter. Grandpa, Yichen looked at Leng Qingtian aggrievedly, as though he wanted Leng Qingtian to uphold justice for him. Yichen, don't worry. Grandpa will only acknowledge you as my grandson-in-law, Leng Qingtian promised. Grandpa, if I'm not mistaken, the emperor will mention this to you tomorrow, Leng Ruoxue guessed. Shuer, even if the emperor doesn't mention it, others will. Don't worry. Grandpa knows how to deal with it. Then I'll leave this matter to Grandpa. I won't care about it, Leng Ruoxue said mischievously. Then what benefits will Grandpa get? Leng Qingtian asked cunningly. He happened to have a request for Shuer. What benefits does Grandpa want? Leng Ruoxue asked doubtfully. She knew something was bothering her grandfather. Is he finally willing to tell me? Chapter 137, Uninvited Guests. For Shuer, Grandpa just wants you to help me think of a solution. Leng Qingtian explained the matter and looked at Leng Ruoxue expectantly. Grandpa, don't look at me like that. I'm going back to my room first. I'll tell you immediately when I think of something. Leng Ruoxue turned and left. Freak naturally followed closely behind. The next night, Leng Ruoxue, her brother, and Freak sat in a pavilion in the garden, enjoying a hot pot while chatting. Big brother, Grandpa and the others should be there already, right? Leng Ruoxue asked casually. She had never been to the imperial palace of the Eastern Lagoon Empire, nor did she want to go. Yes, they should be there soon. Schwer, I'm sure many people will be very disappointed that you didn't go today, Leng Ruhan teased. He had also heard about what happened yesterday. Big brother, I just want to be happy. How can I have the time to care about irrelevant people? Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Schwer, I've cooked this for you. Eat it. Freak kept feeding Schwer. Miss, someone is looking for young Master Yi. The steward walked over to report. Who is it? Freak said with some displeasure. Who would look for me? They are young Master Yi's parents, the steward said anxiously. The visitor claimed to be young Master Yi's parents, so he had no choice but to disturb them. Parents? My mother died when she gave birth to me. How can I have a mother? Yi Chen's eyes were like ice, and his expression suddenly became very vicious. Steward, ask them to wait in the living room, Leng Ruoxue ordered. Yes, Mississippi. The steward was frightened by Yi Chen's ferocity, and he immediately dashed away after hearing Leng Ruoxue's instructions. Freak, what happened? Leng Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. Even though he had been with them so long, Freak had never mentioned anything about his family, and she had never asked about it. In fact, she wouldn't have asked if not for the guests who suddenly came to visit. Every family had its difficulties, so she respected his privacy. Schwer, accompany me to take a look first. Send them away, and I'll tell you later, Freak said with a cold face. Okay. Leng Ruoxue and Freak came to the living room together. When they entered the door, they saw a middle-aged couple sitting in chairs. Where's your young lady? Doesn't she know we're here? Why is she so rude? A good-looking middle-aged woman was being picky with displeasure. The steward standing beside her didn't even frown and directly ignored her words. Be quiet, the middle-aged man sitting beside her scolded. Husband, it's clear that they're neglecting us. Is this how the general's mansion treats guests? The middle-aged woman retorted, not taking the man's words seriously. Are you looking for me? Leng Ruoxue and Yi Chen walked into the living room casually. When the two people sitting in the chairs saw Leng Ruoxue, they were clearly stunned for a while before coming back to their senses. While they were lost in thought, Leng Ruoxue carefully examined the two. The man was handsome, and Freak did look a little like him. But his temperament was much worse, and his figure was a little chubby. As for the woman, her skin was slightly yellowish. She was good-looking, but she looked like a mean and bitter person. You are Leng Ruoxue? The middle-aged beauty said with a displeased face. Leng Ruoxue sat down on the main seat and said flatly, yes. Then do you know who we are? How dare you treat us so lightly, the middle-aged woman rebuked, her nose almost flying into the sky. I heard you are my fiancé's parents. Leng Ruoxue asked with a faint smile. It's good that you know. But so what? Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Leng Ruoxue, what do you mean? The middle-aged woman stood up from her chair angrily and glared at Leng Ruoxue. Exactly what I said. Leng Ruoxue's eyes turned cold. She was getting impatient. Husband, look at Leng Ruoxue. What's with her attitude? We are her elders, yet she treats us like this. Husband, our Yi family can't have someone like this as a daughter-in-law. The middle-aged woman wailed at the man beside her. Nonsense. Do you think it's up to us? His Majesty bestowed the marriage. We can't refuse even if she's not good. The middle-aged man sounded a little helpless, but the corner of his eyes couldn't help sneaking a glance at his son. The guilt in his heart disappeared in a flash. For the sake of the family, he could only let his son down. Alas, he had no choice. Leng Ruoxue watched the two act with a faint smile, but she kept sneering in her heart. She didn't know why these two people suddenly came today, but she knew that nothing good would come of it. Then I'll go and beg His Majesty to cancel the engagement. Our Yi family can't afford to have such a daughter-in-law. The middle-aged woman thought for a while and seemingly suddenly made up her mind. In fact, this was the main reason why they came today. You want to break off the engagement? Len Ruoxue couldn't help interrupting. Yes, the Yi family can't afford to have a daughter-in-law who doesn't respect her elders like you. We have to cancel the engagement, the middle-aged woman said loudly. No matter what, the engagement had to be broken today, or she wouldn't be able to explain it to her elder sister. What if I refuse? Len Ruoxue's cold, beautiful eyes looked at the couple indifferently, and her tone was emotionless. I refuse as well, Yichen said with undisguised disgust on his face. What do these two think I am? They want to manipulate me? Humph. You don't have the right to refuse. Marriage matters must be left to your parents to decide, the middle-aged woman roared, her eyes full of contempt. Is that so? Yichen said indifferently, but his eyes were on his father. Chainer, listen to us on this matter. Len Ruoxue really isn't suitable for you. I'll find you a better one in the future, the middle-aged man coaxed, but he said these words without much confidence. Alas. I hope Chainer listens to me. I didn't expect Len Ruoxue to be a beauty who can topple nations. Chapter 138, We want to break off the engagement. 1. Find a better one. Can you find someone better than Shuer on the Lingfeng continent? Yichen laughed in anger. The middle-aged man stammered. So what if she's good? She's so disrespectful to her elders. If you really marry her, won't we need to serve her as though she's our ancestor? The middle-aged woman was obviously much more glib-tongued. So, you're saying that you want to cancel the engagement? Len Ruoxue was annoyed. Why do these people always want to cause trouble for me? Yes, the engagement must be broken, the middle-aged woman said determinedly. And then? Is the emperor going to arrange another marriage again? Len Ruoxue said casually. In fact, she had already sorted out the cause and effect after they revealed their intentions. How should I know? The middle-aged woman quickly denied, but her expression was a little flustered. What do you think, Freak? Len Ruoxue turned to ask Freak, who was sitting beside her. Arranging and dissolving engagements as you please. What do you take us for? Freak said in an unfriendly tone. In fact, he knew very well that he and Shuer weren't people who liked to be controlled. Those people were really targeting the wrong people. Did you hear that? His words are exactly what I want to say. Len Ruoxue's cold gaze swept over them, and the two of them immediately felt a chill run down their spines. Steward, see the guests out. Len Ruoxue ordered. Yes, Mississippi. Please. The steward's tone was very unfriendly. What kind of parents were they? He had never seen such people in his long life. Seeing that they didn't achieve their goal, the two were embarrassed. Moreover, they were being asked to leave, so they instantly felt ashamed and were about to walk away. Wait! Yichen suddenly called out to them. Chainer. The middle-aged man looked at his son expectantly. Don't call me Chainer. I don't have a father like you. From today onward, I, Yichen, announce that I am leaving the family. I won't be a member of the Yi family anymore. Yichen looked at the middle-aged man coldly. Chainer, do you know what you're saying? The middle-aged man said furiously, his face alternating between blue and white, clearly extremely angry. Husband, don't stop him. If he wants to leave, let him leave. Let's see how he can gain a foothold on the Lingfeng continent without the protection of our Yi family. The middle-aged woman pretended to be angry, but she was overjoyed from the bottom of her heart. This thorn in her heart had finally gotten rid of himself. This was great. No one in the Yi family would snatch anything from her son in the future. I've thought about it very clearly, and I know what I'm saying. Leave and don't come back. I have nothing to do with all of you from now on, Yichen said coldly. Please leave, the steward said disdainfully. Shuer, let me hug you, Freak said pitifully when the two of them were alone in the living room. Okay. Leng Ruoxue was a little speechless as she allowed Freak to hug her, but she couldn't help feeling puzzled. For some reason, I always feel like I'm being taken advantage of. Swear, actually, I don't have much feeling for that so-called father. If he didn't marry that woman to establish his position, my mother wouldn't have died, and I wouldn't have been poisoned since I was a child. You wouldn't have seen me if I hadn't been saved. Freak acted coquettishly again as he spoke. So pitiful. Leng Ruoxue caressed his head as though she was petting him. To be honest, she really couldn't imagine that he was sad given his tone. She wondered if she was being too unsympathetic. Swear, you have to treat me better in the future. I don't have any other family apart from you, Freak said pitifully. His eyes welled up with tears, as though the water might spill out at any moment as long as Swear didn't satisfy his request. Yes, yes. I will be good to you, Leng Ruoxue coaxed helplessly. Isn't Freak going to tell me about his past? What's going on now? Oh, Freak, didn't you say that you wanted to tell me about your past? Continue. Leng Ruoxue urged. She was being wheedled on. She felt that this was dangerous because she was afraid that she would have no choice but to sign countless unfair treaties. I'm done. What else can I say? He looked at her with a face full of confusion. That's it? Leng Ruoxue was dumbfounded. Yes, and after I was saved, I continued to pretend to be sick. It wasn't easy for me to grow up safely. Freak's shiny black eyes looked at her with a few big words written in them, pitiful. Come and pity me. He didn't care at all and pretended to be pitiful in front of the person he loved. Who saved you then? She asked curiously. I can't tell you now. You will know in the future. He kept her in suspense. Seeing how smug Freak was, Leng Ruoxue really wanted to bite him. But she was relieved to see that what happened just now didn't affect him. Freak, let's continue eating. She changed the topic. Yeah, I'm not full yet. Freak said with some dissatisfaction. He really didn't want to be disturbed by irrelevant people. When Leng Ruoxue and Yichen returned to the garden pavilion, Leng Ruhan was almost done eating. Swear, Yichen, is everything okay? Leng Ruhan asked as they ate. It's okay. I've left the Yi family, Yichen said calmly. He casually picked up a piece of meat and cooked it in the hot pot. What? How did this happen? What happened? Leng Ruhan was surprised. Leaving your family was not a small matter. Moreover, leaving your family would mean that the family had given up on you, and you wouldn't be protected by the family in the future. They were here to cancel the engagement, Leng Ruoxue explained. Su Nair came to look for you yesterday, and today, the Yi family came here to break off the engagement. This is really, Leng Ruhan was speechless. When did the people of our Leng family become so easy to manipulate? Chapter 139, We want to break off the engagement, too, Swear, did they say they want to break off the engagement directly? Leng Ruhan was very curious. Their Leng family shouldn't be pushovers, right? No, they said that I was disrespecting my elders. Leng Ruoxue was speechless. What an excuse. Seems like this should be the emperor's idea. Swear, some people are really unscrupulous in order to marry you. Leng Ruhan couldn't help teasing. But he could also see that Shuer and Yichen didn't seem to be affected. Yes. They must pay the price for scheming against me, Leng Ruoxue said unhappily. Hee, Shuer, how do you plan to deal with them? Leng Ruhan was a little curious. Those people really didn't have eyes. I'll discuss it with Grandpa when he comes back. After dinner, Leng Ruoxue's group of 3 waited until late at night, but Leng Qingtian and the others still weren't back. Big brother, why aren't they back yet? Could something have happened? Leng Ruoxue was a little worried and regretted not attending the banquet with her grandfather and the others. Don't worry. Nothing will happen. Grandpa is now a spiritual supremacy, and Thunder Knight is a divine beast. There really aren't many people who dare to touch Grandpa in the Eastern Lagoon Empire now, Leng Ruhan comforted. Yes, Leng Ruoxue agreed. Big brother, let's go back to our rooms to rest first. Leng Ruoxue continued. How long should they wait? Then let's go back to our rooms and sleep. Leng Ruhan said. He was also a little sleepy. Okay. The next day, after waking up, Leng Ruoxue washed up and planned to go to the study to find her grandfather. Mississippi. Leng Ruoxue met Fengde as soon as she entered the garden. Fengde, why did you come back so late last night? Leng Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. The banquet ended very early. But later, the emperor and the general spoke alone for a long time, Fengde complained. Miss, the general seems to be in a very bad mood. Fengde reminded softly after thinking about it. Oh. She had expected it long ago. Grandpa. Leng Ruoxue knocked on the door of the study. Shuer, come in. Shuer, was Yichen all right last night? Leng Qingtian asked with concern when he saw his granddaughter walk in. The steward had already told him. He's fine. But Grandpa, I heard you're not in a good mood. Leng Ruoxue probed. Shuer, the emperor really wants you to marry the 7th prince. He had a long chat with Grandpa yesterday. Leng Qingtian was speechless. The emperor even brought up the late emperor in order to convince him. It's his business what he wants. I won't let him tell me what to do. Leng Ruoxue was a little angry. Am I too weak? That damn stinky emperor really needs to be taught a lesson. Grandpa, don't meddle in this matter. Just leave it to me. Shuer, what do you intend to do? Leng Qingtian was really curious. Grandpa, it's better if you don't know. Leng Ruoxue said with evil intentions. After leaving Leng Qingshan's study, Leng Ruoxue went to find Freak. It's still better to cooperate with Freak to do something bad. Shuer, where are we going? Freak held Shuer's slender waist with one hand and took advantage of her openly on Quill's back. The Heavenly Phoenix Academy. Why are we going there? Didn't we agree not to go there anymore? Freak was slightly displeased. Hua Qing was there, so he didn't want to go there. Go and settle the score with the 7th prince. I want to beat him up ruthlessly, Leng Ruoxue said wickedly. It would be difficult for her to dispel her anger if she didn't beat him up. Yes, beat him up. Beat him up hard. He raised both hands in approval of this idea, but... Shuer, is beating him up enough? Freak said after some thought. What else? Leng Ruoxue looked at him with clear eyes. Castrate him, he proposed. That way, there's no way he can marry Shuer and become the emperor. A few drops of cold sweat dripped down Leng Ruoxue's forehead. Why does Freak always like doing something so hardcore? What I mean is, let him be the same as the Hua family patriarch. He can see it but not eat it, Freak explained. This was the worst punishment for men. Okay then. Leng Ruoxue approved. Quill, land at the back door. Leng Ruoxue ordered. There were few people at the back door, so no one would notice. Yes, master. Quill went to the back door of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, found an open space, and descended. Rise, cast an invisibility spell on us. Leng Ruoxue summoned Rise. Yes, master. Count me in on doing bad things, Rise volunteered, looking eager. Master, I want to go too, Dazzle said excitedly through voice transmission from the Heaven and Earth bracelet. Dazzle, you can't. Your claws are too obvious, and someone will discover you, Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. She was very afraid that Dazzle would use his claws to scratch someone like Darling had. She only wanted to trip the Emperor up in the dark now and didn't want to face him directly. Master, I'm not that stupid fox, Dazzle said aggrievedly while screaming in his head that he wanted to do something bad. Fine. Leng Ruoxue couldn't stand his pitiful appearance and had to let Dazzle out as well. After the 2 humans and 2 beasts became indivisible, they went straight to the unlucky 7th prince. When they found Li Yu in the main hall, no one else was there. Yichen rushed up to him and began beating him up as though Li Yu had killed his father. The 7th prince was beaten unconscious before he could even realize what was going on. So weak, Freak complained, not yet satisfied. He took out a pill and stuffed it into the 7th prince's mouth, then clapped his hands and returned to Shuer. Shuer, let's go, he said ingratiatingly. He felt much better. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded, and the 2 walked toward the door. Shuer, where are we going? This wasn't the way back to the Leng residence. The Imperial Palace. She had yet to visit the Imperial Palace of the Eastern Lagoon Empire. Alright, let's go and give that damn emperor some inhumane medicine, Freak said fiercely. These matters were caused by that damn emperor. If he didn't teach him a lesson, he would write his name backward. Chapter 140, We Want to Break Off the Engagement, 3, Still That Hardcore. Leng Ruoxue complained. Shuer, where does the emperor live? Freak asked after they landed in the Imperial Garden. He wasn't familiar with the Imperial Palace. I'm going to meet the Empress first. Meet the Empress? Yes, doesn't the emperor want the 7th prince to be the next emperor? I won't let him get his way. Leng Ruoxue knew that the Empress and the Crown Prince had to hate what the damn emperor was doing now. As the saying went, the enemy of the enemy was a friend, so cooperating with the Empress was the best choice. Relying on the map she got from her grandfather, Leng Ruoxue quickly found the Phoenix Algae Palace where the Empress lived. Freak, wait for me here. I'll go by myself. Leng Ruoxue motioned for Rise to dispel his invisibility spell and walked into the Phoenix Algae Palace openly. The Empress kept a very low profile. Apart from the guards outside the palace, there wasn't a single maidservant or guard in the entire palace. Who are you? The Empress, who was sitting and reading a book, forced herself to calm down and look at the girl who suddenly appeared in her palace. But she was startled in her heart. I am Leng Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue said her name directly. It was obvious that this Empress was smart, or she wouldn't be so calm. You are Leng Ruoxue. You are indeed a rare beauty, the Empress said appreciatively. Her eyes kept looking up and down at the absolutely beautiful girl in front of her. With her alluring beauty, cold and noble temperament, and extraordinary strength, the 7th prince simply wasn't worthy of such a stunning woman. Seems that the emperor's wishful thinking won't be possible. Empress, you are also a rare beauty, Leng Ruoxue said honestly. The woman in front of her was indeed very beautiful, and it was a kind of intellectual beauty. As for her strength, this beautiful woman was unexpectedly a spiritual sovereign. This Empress was really like a fresh flower stuck in cow manure. May I ask why Miss Leng is looking for me? The Empress asked frankly with a smile. Why are you asking the obvious? I'm sure you know why I'm here. Leng Ruoxue threw the question back. Miss Leng, did you come because of the marriage with the 7th prince? The Empress asked with certainty. Yes. Miss Leng, this matter was decided by the Emperor. It's useless to look for me, the Empress said helplessly. She was also thinking of ways to stop this matter, but she didn't have any good ideas. In fact, she was the most unwilling person to see the 7th prince marry the Leng family. You are mistaken, Empress. I came for this matter, but not entirely. I'm mainly here to find you to cooperate against our common enemy, Leng Ruoxue said candidly. Since they were going to cooperate, they needed to be sincere. How do you want to cooperate with me, Miss Leng? The Empress asked directly. Smart people wouldn't lie, and they indeed had a common enemy. I wonder how far you're willing to go, Empress. Leng Ruoxue probed. I don't understand what you mean. I'm sure you can see that the Emperor plans to abolish the Crown Prince and establish the 7th Prince, Leng Ruoxue said bluntly. Yes. She had long seen through it. The emperor had been brewing such thoughts for quite some time. But the seventh prince's mother's family didn't have much power, so the emperor had never dared to act rashly. Since you know about it, why didn't you take precautions earlier? Leng Ruoxue really couldn't understand this woman's thoughts. He's my husband after all, the empress said helplessly. But he doesn't treat you as his wife. He's a man who spoils his concubines and neglects his wife, yet you still indulge him. Do you have to wait until he makes the first move before you wake up? Leng Ruoxue hated women who valued their husbands above all else. She was obviously a very smart woman, but she couldn't figure out emotional issues. You are right. I really have indulged him too much. In fact, when we first got married, we were happy, so I've always, the empress choked with emotion. Men are fickle-minded. I'm afraid he doesn't remember, Leng Ruoxue said mockingly. She had already learned about the damn emperor's character. What do you want me to do? The empress asked after calming herself down. It was time for her to plan for her son. Empress, you can express your disapproval of this matter, Leng Ruoxue reminded. But, the empress hesitated. If her objection was useful, she would have objected long ago. Empress, although your maiden family isn't comparable to the 5 great families, it's still the #1 family in the Eastern Lagoon Empire. As long as you object, the emperor will more or less take note of it. Leng Ruoxue analyzed. I'll try, the empress said after some thought. Then, Leng Ruoxue whispered her plan into the empress' ear. This won't do. It's too risky. The empress widened her eyes and looked at Leng Ruoxue in disbelief. This girl actually wants me to. Miss Leng, I think you still don't know about the old patriarch's existence yet, right? The empress asked, her heart racing. I know. Every imperial family has a spiritual supremacy behind them. She heard from her grandfather that the old patriarch of the Eastern Lagoon Empire was also a spiritual supremacy. Then how dare you want me to, Empress, if you don't even have the courage, then just wait to be eaten. Leng Ruoxue reminded lightly. She knew that the Empress was afraid of the so-called old patriarch, but she didn't think that the old patriarch would start a killing spree over such a small matter. After all, the struggle for the throne was always bloody, and the old patriarch must have done similar things back then. Let me think about it, the Empress said thoughtfully. Okay. When you've thought it over, send someone to look for me. Then Leng Ruoxue turned and left the Phoenix Algae Palace. Not far away from the Phoenix Algae Palace. Where did that damn freak go? Didn't we agree that he would wait here? Leng Ruoxue muttered to herself. How disobedient. He should be spanked. Shuer, are you thinking about me? Just as Leng Ruoxue finished thinking this, Freak's enchanting voice sounded in her ears, and his face was full of excitement. Master said she wants to spank you for being disobedient, Dazzle gloated while lying in Leng Ruoxue's arms. Chapter 141, We want to break off the engagement. Shuer, do you really want to spank me? Freak asked pitifully. It would be unsightly to have his butt slapped. Boo-hoo. Leng Ruoxue's face was full of embarrassment. How could this little thing say what's in my mind? Where did you go? I went to drug him, Freak confessed his crime honestly. Oh. Leng Ruoxue didn't know what to say. He was really a man of action. Shuer, do you really want to spank me? Freak blinked his black eyes as if he was looking forward to it. No, I'll keep it on the account first and calculate everything together later. Leng Ruoxue felt a headache coming on. What kind of expression is he making? Oh. What oh? Let's go back, Leng Ruoxue roared. That oh sounds so strange. Yes, mistress, Freak answered obediently and hurriedly sat on Quill's back. The two quickly returned to the general's mansion. Miss, the Yi family is here again. The steward saw Leng Ruoxue return to the garden and hurried over to inform her. Why are they here again? Where are they? Leng Ruoxue frowned with annoyance. In the living room. I think the acting patriarch of the Yi family is here too, the steward said after some thought. Acting patriarch? Leng Ruoxue and Freak looked at each other in realization. They then went to the living room. Grandpa, do we have guests? Leng Ruoxue asked knowingly after entering the living room. Shuer, you're back. This is the acting patriarch of the Yi family, His Excellency Yi Ming. Leng Qingtian stood up and introduced them while shooting glances at his granddaughter. Hello, Your Excellency Yi Ming, Leng Ruoxue said indifferently while looking at the handsome, noble middle-aged man in front of her. The Yi family all have good skin. Hee, Miss Leng, I came specially to apologize today, Yi Ming said good-naturedly, his expression full of sincerity. Apologize? Apologize for what? Leng Ruoxue pretended to be puzzled, her beautiful face at a loss. What kind of drama is this? Our Yi family was rude to you yesterday. I came specially to apologize, Yi Ming said with a smile. Yi Tao, don't the two of you have anything to say to her? Yi Ming hollered at his cousin. This incompetent thing. My plans are going to be ruined by them. Sorry, we didn't consider it carefully yesterday. Don't worry. We won't break off the engagement. Yi Tao said in a low voice reluctantly. But he hated Yi Ming to the core. Damn it. He actually made me apologize to a junior. This made the prideful Yi Tao feel very embarrassed. I obviously can't count on the Yi family at all. But as a descendant of the Yi family, I still have to contribute to the prosperity of the Yi family. Why? Yi Tao felt extremely uncomfortable about this. Otherwise, he wouldn't have listened to his wife and turned to noble consort Fang. In this world, the standards for the offspring of side branches or concubines were actually very stringent. Although they might be part of the family, their status and position were not much better than the family servants, sometimes not even as good as outsiders. Moreover, when the children of side branches or concubines reached adulthood, they had to leave the family and live alone, and the family would only give a small sum of money to them. As for whether they could support themselves, the family wouldn't care. But if the family needed them for something, they had to help the family. If the offspring of side branches or concubines wanted to live a carefree life, they would need to have certain opportunities or be born with excellent aptitude, becoming superior to others. But it was very difficult for offspring with excellent aptitudes of side branches or concubines to grow up safely. And you? Yi Ming continued shouting. Aya, what happened yesterday was a misunderstanding. Don't take it to heart. Yi Tao's wife, Ming Fen, said with a smile. She was so affectionate that it was as if nothing had happened yesterday. Leng Ruoxue sneered as she watched the three of them put on an act while guessing their purpose for coming. They wanted to break off the engagement yesterday, but what about today? I've already broken ties with the Yi family, so there's no need for you to apologize, Yi Qin said coldly, not interested in their self-directed acting. Child, how can you say things like leaving the family so easily? This isn't good for your future. Remember, don't say it again, Yi Ming reprimanded him gently like an elder caring for a junior, his face full of disapproval. All right, we accept your apology. If there's nothing else, we'll be leaving first. Leng Ruoxue gave Freak a slight look. Hee, Ruoxue, we will be a family from now on. You also want our Yi family to become stronger, right? Yi Ming said hurriedly when he saw Leng Ruoxue preparing to leave. He lowered his stance and took the initiative to worm his way into being friendly with her. What exactly does Patriarch Yi Ming want to say? Just get straight to the point, Leng Ruoxue said bluntly. But her mind was racing. What does the strength of the Yi family have to do with me? All right, it'll be straightforward then. I heard that you have a few spots to enter the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm. Can you give some to the Yi family? There's no need to give more than half. Of course, I won't let you suffer a loss. We will use money to buy them or exchange for them. Yi Ming looked at Leng Ruoxue anxiously, his heart racing. The spots were really too important to the Yi family. Otherwise, why would he be so submissive with his status? I used to have a few spots, but I've given them all away, Leng Ruoxue said after a while. So, it's because of the spots for the mystic realm. But she didn't expect someone to know that she had spots in her hands so soon. Wouldn't that mean other forces would also be coming? Who did you give them to? Yi Ming asked angrily. He didn't believe Leng Ruoxue at all. He even felt that she was refusing because she didn't want to give any to him. I'm sorry. I can't tell you. Leng Ruoxue smiled lightly. Leng Ruoxue, how can you casually give such important things to someone irrelevant? As a daughter-in-law of the Yi family, it's fine if you don't take the initiative to hand them over to the family, but you actually don't know how to plan for the family. Humph. Yi Minghua roared furiously. He was even angrier that he lowered his stance but gained nothing. Chapter 142, Change of Tide, 1. When did I become a daughter-in-law of the Yi family? Leng Ruoxue had a mocking expression on her face. Her eyes were deep, and she looked at the furious Yi Ming indifferently. What kind of person is he? He turned hostile immediately when he didn't achieve his goal. You will marry into the Yi family sooner or later. Aren't you a daughter-in-law of the Yi family? Yi Ming asked in return with a stern face. Who said I'm marrying into the Yi family? I'm not marrying into any family, Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. He's the one marrying in, Leng Ruoxue said domineeringly while pointing at Freak. Schwer. Freak looked at Leng Ruoxue lovingly, his eyes saying, when will you marry me? Why you? Do you think this is what a woman should say? Yi Ming was so angry that he almost fainted. Patriarch, I've already told you that our Yi family can't afford to marry Leng Ruoxue. Ming Fen added oil to the fire and mocked him. He deserves it. Yi Ming used his identity as the patriarch to force us to apologize. In the end, it was all for naught. Ha, Ming Fen laughed hysterically in her head. Shut up. Yi Ming scolded with a dark face. This woman clearly wanted to see him make a fool of himself. Patriarchy is also considered a powerhouse, so of course you look down on women. But, Leng Ruoxue looked at Ming Fen, who was causing trouble, and stopped speaking. But what? But you shouldn't be too fond of women. You might regret it in the future. Leng Ruoxue reminded him out of goodwill. Humph. I have never believed that a woman would dare to ride on my head. Yi Ming said coldly. Then he flicked his sleeves and left. Yi Tao and his wife left quickly after him. Before leaving, Ming Fen glared at Yi Chen fiercely. So rude, Leng Ruoxue murmured with some displeasure. It's good that Yi Ming didn't die of anger. Do you still want him to be polite? Leng Qingtian said speechlessly. Schwer, we've offended the Yi family this time. You have to be careful. Leng Qingtian said worriedly. Don't worry, Grandpa. I'll be careful. Grandpa, the Yi family already knows that I have spots in my hand. I believe other families will come knocking on my door soon. If anyone looks for me, just tell them that I'm in seclusion and that I've given the spots away, Leng Ruoxue said after thinking about it. In fact, she still had a few spots in her hand after giving them to her grandfather and brother, but she planned to keep them as backup. Okay. Leng Qingtian nodded. After Leng Ruoxue and Freak left the living room, they went to look for Fengde, said a few words to him, and then left. Freak, I'm going into seclusion tomorrow. Don't disturb me unless it's something particularly important. Leng Ruoxue said to Freak from the entrance of the Listening Snow Pavilion. All right. Freak looked at Leng Ruoxue bitterly. Boo-hoo. Leng Ruoxue returned to her room and entered the Heaven and Earth bracelet. Girl, you're here. The butterfly Leng Ruoxue threw into the Heaven and Earth bracelet flew over and stopped in front of her. Big sister. Little Feng Feng and Blaze also ran over and climbed directly onto Leng Ruoxue. You're all so big now. How can big sister carry all of you at once? Leng Ruoxue laughed. Since they were locked up to cultivate obediently, these little fellows had advanced to level 1 holy beast. Their small bodies had grown quite big, and they were as strong as a small mountain. She couldn't carry them like before. Girl. The ignored butterfly was unhappy and glared at Len Ruoxue. Go and play by yourself. There are so many flowers and trees over there. That's enough pollen for you to collect, Len Ruoxue reminded. Collect pollen? I don't collect pollen. I am a sprite. A sprite. The butterfly roared furiously. It was very angry, and the consequences were serious. This girl actually compared me to those low-level creatures. She is really too much. The butterfly found it intolerable. Don't collect pollen. You can collect honey then. Go quickly. Len Ruoxue said in realization. I won't collect honey either. The butterfly wilted and squatted in a corner to draw circles. Qing Ju, I'm going to cultivate. Call me if anyone outside is looking for me, Len Ruoxue said to Qing Ju, who was not far away. Okay, big sister. Len Ruoxue then entered the purple bamboo house. The garden of the general's mansion was blooming with flowers of all colors. Hey, what's wrong with Yichen? Feng Moran, who came from the Feng family residence, patted Feng De in puzzlement. Why does this fellow look listless and ignoring others? Miss went into seclusion, so Deputy Leader Yi became this way, Feng De explained weakly. Recently, Deputy Leader Yi had been sitting alone in the garden in a daze. Shuer went into seclusion. Feng Moran said in surprise. No wonder he didn't see her. But why did she go into seclusion so quickly? Probably annoyed by the visitors, Feng De guessed. There were always people coming to see their young lady every day ever since they returned from lunar capital. Alas. Yeah, Shuer is indeed afraid of trouble, Feng Moran said understandingly. He more or less understood her temper after being with her for so long. Oh right, Deputy Leader Feng, Miss asked me to help her buy a shop. Can you accompany me to discuss it? What for? Feng Moran was puzzled. Does Shuer want to do business? Miss wants to open a restaurant, Feng De explained. He had already seen the location, but he hadn't managed to negotiate the price down. Does Shuer have time to manage it? Restaurants were very troublesome, so Feng Moran was really curious. There's us. Feng De said with a grin. Oh. Feng Moran nodded. He really couldn't understand why Shuer wanted to open a restaurant. She wasn't short of money. Deputy Leader Feng, let's go. Okay. After they left, Yichen sat alone in the garden, looking up at the sky. Len Ruoxue cultivated day and night in the purple bamboo house, and she accelerated time by 100 times. Unfortunately, her strength was far inferior to her master's. Otherwise, her strength would absolutely rise to a higher level if she accelerated time by 10,000 or even 1,000,000 times. Chapter 143, Change of Tide, 2, Big Sister, Yichen is looking for you, Qing Ju called out softly from outside the purple bamboo house. Got it. Even though Len Ruoxue was cultivating, she hadn't completely sealed her divine sense, so she could hear what Qing Ju said. Len Ruoxue exited the heaven and earth bracelet and opened the door to see the haggard-looking Freak standing outside. Shuer. Freak hugged Len Ruoxue tightly and excitedly. What happened to you? Did someone bully you? A drop of sweat rolled down Len Ruoxue's forehead. What's going on? I missed you. I only went into seclusion for a few days. Len Ruoxue was helpless. If I went into seclusion for a year or so, would he not be here anymore? Someone is looking for you, Freak said with dissatisfaction. He was very dissatisfied with Shuer's reaction. Boo-hoo. Shuer didn't even miss me. Who's looking for me? Len Ruoxue asked doubtfully. Someone sent by the Empress. Oh, let's go take a look. Len Ruoxue and Yichen walked into the living room. A young woman sitting in a chair immediately stood up and bowed to them when she saw them. Miss Leng. You are? Leng Ruoxue looked at the woman in her early 20s. This woman had a beautiful face, snow-white skin, a gentle personality, and a good temperament. Her first impression of her was good, and she was an intermediate spiritual monarch. I am Mo Ingyue, Mo Ingyue said softly while looking at Leng Ruoxue curiously. Mo Ingyue. Leng Ruoxue frowned in thought. I was too rude. Crown Princess is gracing us with her presence. Leng Ruoxue suddenly realized why she felt that this name was familiar. You flatter me. It was Imperial Mother who asked me to look for Miss Leng, Mo Ingyue said calmly. Yes, has the Empress decided? Leng Ruoxue asked in realization. It was enough to show the Empress' sincerity since she sent the Crown Prince's wife. Yes. Mo Ingyue nodded. This was a serious matter, which was why she was sent here. In that case, look for me when you are ready. I will cooperate with you then, Leng Ruo said without hesitation. Okay, Miss Leng. Then I'll take my leave. Mo Ingyue finished her task, so she didn't stay any longer. After Mo Ingyue left, Leng Ruoxue went to the study. Grandpa. Why is my Shuer here? Weren't you in seclusion? Leng Qingtian was a little surprised. Grandpa, do you want to enter seclusion? Or you can leave Phoenix City and go somewhere else, Leng Ruoxue suggested. There was going to be a big movement in Phoenix City soon, and she didn't want her grandfather to be in a dilemma. Shuer, are you hiding something from Grandpa? Leng Qingtian looked at his granddaughter suspiciously. Yes, there is. But I don't intend to let Grandpa know, so Grandpa, you should leave Phoenix City and stay somewhere else for a while. Leng Ruoxue said honestly without denying it. Her grandfather would definitely not let her go when he returned if she really fooled him. Do you really need Grandpa to leave so badly? Leng Qingtian confirmed expressionlessly. But he was thinking in his heart, is Shuer going to make a move? It seems that she has been provoked by someone. Okay, Grandpa, don't worry about the soldiers you told me about. Your granddaughter has arranged everything, Leng Ruoxue added to reassure her grandfather. Well, all right then. I'll go and visit my old friends. Leng Qingtian said aggrievedly. Boo-hoo, my granddaughter has grown up and doesn't need me anymore. Grandpa, don't be like this. It's not like you won't be coming back. Leng Ruoxue had a few black lines on her forehead, and her beautiful face was full of helplessness. Shuer, what did you arrange for those soldiers? Leng Qingtian couldn't help asking curiously. He didn't expect Shuer to think of a way so quickly. I've treated their injuries, and am preparing to open a restaurant to let them support themselves, Leng Ruoxue explained simply. Ever since her grandfather told her that the disabled soldiers under him were forced to do dangerous things, she had been thinking of a way to help them. It was not that she was compassionate, but it was because these people were once her grandfather's subordinates. She didn't want to see him frowning all day for them, so she made a move. She wouldn't care if it was someone unrelated. There were many pitiful people in the world, and she couldn't manage to help them all. Shuer, Grandpa thanks you on their behalf, Leng Qingtian said happily. Alas, there were more than 100 people. It must have been tough on Shuer. Grandpa, they shouldn't be thanking me but you. Leng Ruoxue didn't dare to take the credit. Everything she did was for her grandfather. You silly girl. Oh right, Shuer, when do you need Grandpa to leave? As soon as possible. Whenever you're ready, you should leave, Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. The Empress should need some time to prepare. Alright, Grandpa will leave tomorrow then. Leng Qingtian said straightforwardly. He felt much more relaxed now that the matter that had been weighing on his mind had been resolved. Okay. The next day, Leng Qingtian reluctantly left the general's mansion. Half a month later, in the garden of the general's mansion. Shuer, Mo Ingyue is here. Feng Moran walked into the garden. Mo Inoue had come several times in the past half a month, so almost everyone knew her. Let her come here. She was lying comfortably on a recliner with her head on Freak's leg, enjoying him feeding her. She was even holding two little foxes, one black and one white. And on her snow-white wrist was a golden snake-shaped bracelet. She looked like a noble queen no matter how you looked at it. Okay. Feng Moran smiled and left. Feng Moran soon returned with Mo Inoue behind him. Sister Ruoshue really knows how to enjoy life. Handsome men surround you, Mo Inoue said enviously when she saw the handsome men beside Len Ruoshue. After coming here a few times, she was already very familiar with her. Big sister Mo can do it too, Len Ruoshue teased. 2 drops of cold sweat rolled down her forehead uncontrollably. Where are the handsome men? There's only Freak and my biological brother. Chapter 144, Change of Tide, 3, I don't have the guts, Mo Inoue quickly said. If these words reached the Crown Prince's ears, she would. That's true. The Crown Prince is a jealous lover. Len Ruoshue expressed her understanding and sympathy. Ruoshue, almost all the preparations are done. Mo Inoue glared at Len Ruoshue gently and sat down beside her. She went straight to the point. In the past half-month, they had made thorough preparations. Moreover, the hottest news in Phoenix City now was probably related to the imperial family. Alas. Okay, let's do it tonight. Len Ruoshue nodded, finally deciding on the time. Tonight? Why the rush? Mo Inoue was puzzled. There's no better time than today. Today is a good day, Len Ruoshue said somewhat charlatan-like. Tonight, I will avenge the death of the silly Ruoshue. Humph. As for Tsunaer, she's next. Alright, I'll listen to you. I'll go back and prepare first, Mo Inoue said as she stood up. I'll see big sister Mo out, Len Ruoshue said as she also stood up. No need. We're sisters. There's no need to be so polite, Mo Inoue quickly said. Len Ruoshue didn't stand on ceremony after hearing Mo Yingyu's words. She looked at Feng Mo, then Big Brother Feng, help me send Big Sister Mo off. She still had a good impression of Mo Inoue. Moreover, Mo Inoue wanted to befriend her wholeheartedly. Freak, let's go to the palace to play tonight. Len Ruoshue then looked at Charm and Dazzle hesitantly. Master, I want to go too, Dazzle yelled, unwilling to be left out. Master, let him accompany you. I will stay to protect the general's mansion, Charm said very sensibly. All right then. Seeing Charm being so understanding, Len Ruoshue cherished him even more. In fact, she knew that Charm was always giving in to Dazzle because Charm felt that the fox race owed Dazzle. Alas. What a little fool. In the middle of the night, Len Ruoshue and Freak sneaked into the palace. At this time, everyone was sleeping soundly, and there were only routine guards and maidservants on night watch. But these people had long been bribed by the Empress, so they turned a blind eye when they saw her and Freak swaggering into the palace. Ruoshue, here. Mo Inoue was waiting for them outside the Phoenix Algae Palace. Big sister Mo, let's begin. Len Ruoshue said directly after seeing Mo Inoue. Okay, Ruoshue. Let's split up. Mo Inoue nodded. Remember to leave the 7th prince for me, Len Ruoshue reminded before taking action. Don't worry. He's yours, Mo Inoue promised. The poor 7th prince was going to be in trouble. She knew that Len Ruoshue would never let him off easily. Len Ruoshue and Freak arrived at the emperor's sleeping chamber. Apart from the guards at the door, there were no eunuchs or maidservants in the room. This emperor sure is gutsy. Isn't he afraid that someone will come and kill him? Or is he too confident in his secret guards? Unfortunately, his secret guards have already gone to see their ancestors, Len Ruo thought as they walked into the inner hall. Don't look. Freak hurriedly covered Leng Ruoxiu's eyes with his hands. Freak, what are you doing? Leng Ruoxiu asked in puzzlement. What's wrong with him? Swear, don't open your eyes. You will get a sty if you look. Leng Ruoxiu removed Freak's hands covering her eyes and glared at him before turning her gaze to the bed. TCH. Isn't it just a few naked people? Leng Ruoxiu said nonchalantly while looking at Freak in disdain. This emperor is really perverted. It's actually a foursome. But can he still perform? Didn't Freak drug him? Swear, his figure isn't good, Freak said aggrievedly, his eyes brimming with tears. Wake him up. Leng Ruoxiu ignored his pitiful appearance. Business was more important. She handed him a black scarf and covered her face with one, revealing only her beautiful eyes. Hee hee. It's important to create an atmosphere. Okay. Freak wrapped the scarf around his head, stretched out his hand, and gently released a tread of spiritual power at the emperor's body. Who are you? Guards. Emperor Li Sun opened his eyes and yelled when he saw the two masked people by the bed. But his voice was immediately cut off by Leng Ruoxiu. We're here to negotiate a deal with you. Don't be afraid. As long as you behave, we won't kill you, Leng Ruoxiu comforted kindly. What deal? Li Sun said with his eyes. The might exuded by these two people was too strong. Even though he was an elementary spiritual sovereign, he was a little scared, so he didn't dare to act rashly. I won't kill you as long as you write an edict to abdicate now and pass the throne to the crown prince. As for whether the crown prince would kill him or not, she didn't care. Don't even think about it, Li Sun's angry eyes said no. Then die. Leng Ruoxiu got a knife from who knows where and slashed at Li Sun. No. Ill right. Ill right. Li Sun said with his eyes. He was very afraid of death and had no choice but to give in. He, a mighty spiritual sovereign, actually met a day when he was forced like this. He really hated it. Good boy. Leng Ruoxiu threw him a scroll and a writing brush. Li Sun picked up the writing brush with a trembling hand and was just about to write the first word when Leng Ruoxiu stopped him. Stop shaking. Leng Ruoxiu glared at Li Sun in displeasure. Damn Emperor, you asked for it. Originally, she didn't even want to deal with Li Sun. Okay, okay. Li Sun, who couldn't speak, nodded non-stop. He composed himself and then slowly wrote the edict. After Li Sun finished writing the edict, Leng Ruoxiu checked and confirmed that there was no mistake. Then she threw a pill into his mouth. Crown Prince, you can come in now, Leng Ruoxiu said softly when she heard the footsteps outside. Imperial Father, I've wronged you. At this moment, a handsome man in a bright yellow dragon robe walked in with large strides and took the edict from Leng Ruoxiu. Thank you. Crown Prince Li Yuan ignored Li Sun's angry gaze and spoke to Leng Ruoxiu and Freak. There's no need to thank me. Just remember not to have any designs on me, Leng Ruoxiu said lightly. Li Yuan was quite perceptive and smart. His aptitude might not be as good as Li Yes, but he was more suitable to be emperor than him. Chapter 145, Change of Tide, 4, okay. Li Yuan nodded, his mind racing. How would he dare to have any ideas about such a great person? He wasn't tired of living. Just like that, this palace robbery to seize the throne that was supposed to be bloody was quietly completed under Leng Ruoxiu's planning. Ruoxiu, this is for you. It's the seventh prince you wanted, Mo Ingyue said as she threw a fainted dumpling over. Leng Ruoxiu looked at the seventh prince, who had been tied up into a dumpling and thrown on the ground, with a face full of black lines. The seventh prince, who was loved and doted on, probably never dreamed of such an end, right? But he was already unconscious. Was there a need to tie him up like this? Crown Prince, you're not allowed to bully big sister Mo, otherwise, I won't let you off, Leng Ruoxiu said threateningly. Although she hadn't known Mo Ingyue for long, Mo Ingyue could be considered her only female friend. How would I dare? Li Yuan teased and glanced at his beloved wife with a bitter look. That's good. Okay, we're leaving. With that, Leng Ruoxue motioned for Freak to pick up the seventh prince, and then the two of them disappeared into the pitch-black night. Not far from the palace, Leng Ruoxue and Yichen were stopped by someone. Who are you? Leng Ruoxue asked cautiously as she looked at the lanky old man in green cotton clothing blocking their way. This old man was actually a spiritual supremacy. Besides, if she and Freak hadn't decided to walk back, this old man really wouldn't have been able to stop them. Everyone calls me Old Patriarch. The lanky old man sighed softly. His slightly turbid eyes stared straight at Leng Ruoxue with a sharp glow because he was really curious. How could this little girl be so bold? Old Patriarch? The old patriarch of the imperial family? Leng Ruoxue looked at the old man doubtfully. It seemed like this old patriarch of the Eastern Lagoon Empire's imperial family already knew what they did. Otherwise, he wouldn't have approached her. But so what if he found her? The throne still belonged to their Li family. It was just a different person. Little girl, you have good eyesight. However, you're quite gutsy. You actually dared to help the crown prince usurp the throne, the old man said expressionlessly, making it impossible to see his emotions. Thank you for your compliment. I'm just doing what I think is right. It's not worth mentioning, Leng Ruoxue said shamelessly. She didn't feel that there was anything wrong with her helping the crown prince seize the throne. But she was thinking in her heart, you called yourself the old patriarch. I would really be a simpleton if I couldn't guess it. But what does this old man want from me? Revenge for his grandson. Little girl, what do you think I should do with you? The old man asked, seemingly in a dilemma. That's easy. Let us go, and well go head home to sleep, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. This old man didn't seem to be here to avenge his grandson because he didn't deliberately release his might. Little girl, the Eastern Lagoon imperial family changed dynasties overnight because of your involvement. Are we going to let this matter rest? The old man saw Leng Ruoxue pretending to be stupid, so he simply said it clearly. This little girl's ability to pretend to be stupid was even better than Leng Qingshan's. One of them was a cunning old fox, and the other was a little fox, and they were both very difficult to deal with. Isn't it normal to change dynasties? Anyway, they are both from your Li family. Is there a difference who sits on the throne? Moreover, don't you think Li Yuan is more suitable for the throne than Li Sun? The throne will be Li Yuan's sooner or later since he's the crown prince. It's just that it's ahead of schedule, Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Of course, she had thought about all the possible consequences very clearly since she dared to make the move. Moreover, she didn't think that the old patriarch of the imperial family would be angry over something like seizing the throne. People in such high positions had experienced things like seizing power. So I have to thank you. The old man rolled his eyes speechlessly. This little girl is really sharp-tongued. There's no need to thank me. It's good enough as long as you don't find trouble with me nor don't blame me for being nosy, Leng Ruoxue said very calmly. This old man really knows how to pretend. He obviously didn't want to bother about this matter, but he still looked for me. Could it be that he wants a spot for the mystic realm? Nosy? Would you meddle in other people's affairs? It's all because Li Sun pissed you off. The old man's forehead dripped with cold sweat. This little girl's skin is really extraordinarily thick. Is there anything else? If not, I'm going home to sleep, Leng Ruoxue reminded. Little girl, aren't you afraid that I will kill you? The old man was depressed. Why wasn't this little girl afraid of him at all? His descendants were like mice seeing a cat when they saw him. All of them were afraid of him. Not afraid. If you wanted to kill me, you would have done so by now. Would you still say so much nonsense to me? Leng Ruoxue asked in return. She was still confident about this. This old man probably found Li Sun not pleasing to the eye a long time ago. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to appear only after they succeeded. In fact, Leng Ruoxue was right. He was a spiritual supremacy, so the Empress and the others couldn't hide what they did from him. But he didn't stop them, indirectly agreeing to their actions. "Little girl, I've lived for so long, but I've never seen someone as confident as you," the old man said with admiration and regret. "Alas! Why isn't there someone like Leng Ruoxue among my descendants? I would be able to worry less that way." "It's a must to have confidence," Leng Ruoxue said proudly. "Old man, if there's nothing else, I'm really going home to sleep," Leng Ruoxue added. In other words, she was tired and didn't want to chat with him anymore. "Sigh, go." The old man shook his head helplessly. He could also tell that this girl didn't want to have anything to do with the imperial family, so he swallowed the words that were about to come out of his mouth. He would say it again when he had the chance in the future. The old man moved to the side to make way. Leng Ruoxue and Freak walked straight over. The old man also chose to ignore Li Yu, whom Freak was carrying. After returning to the general's mansion, Leng Ruoxue and Freak handed Li Yu to Feng De and instructed him to lock Li Yu up in the dungeon before returning to their rooms to sleep. Chapter 146, Sun Air's End, 1. Early the next morning, Leng Ruoxue got up, washed up, left her room, and went straight to the dining room. Mississippi. Everyone greeted Leng Ruoxue as she entered the dining room. "Morning." Leng Ruoxue nodded and sat down in her seat. "Why is breakfast so sumptuous today?" Leng Ruoxue was a little surprised. "Can they really eat this much?" "Miss, these are all made by Big Brother Wang and the others. They are the fruits of their learning these days, and they made them for you to grade their work," Feng De said with a smile. The Big Brother Wang he was talking about was one of those disabled soldiers. During this period of time, their young lady had arranged for them to learn how to cook from the chefs in the mansion. After the restaurant opened in the future, they would naturally be the chefs of the restaurant. "They look good. Let me try them." Leng Ruoxue picked up a piece of almond pastry and took a bite. The almond flavor was very rich, crispy, and not very sweet. She then tried the other snack dishes separately. Not bad. Breakfast passed. Leng Ruoxue nodded in satisfaction. She had carefully selected these future chefs, and they were all very talented in cooking. They really didn't disappoint her. "Big Brother Wang, did you hear that?" Feng De suddenly shouted. Just as Feng De finished speaking, 20 people walked in. The middle-aged man leading the group knelt down in front of Leng Ruoxue, and the people behind him followed suit. "Thank you for your kindness, miss," the middle-aged man said gratefully. "I said before, don't kneel down casually," Leng Ruoxue reminded. "We don't know how to thank miss for your kindness, so please don't decline," the middle-aged man said stubbornly. "All right. Just this once. There won't be a next time." Leng Ruoxue understood how they felt, but she hadn't thought of asking them to repay her when she helped them. "Feng De, the decor of the restaurant should be almost finished, right?" Leng Ruoxue asked after Big Brother Wang and the others left. "Miss, don't worry. It won't affect the grand opening. It will be completed in a week at most," Feng De explained. "Okay." Leng Ruoxue nodded. She was very confident in Feng De. "Feng De, when you're done here, go out and experience the world," Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. She had planned this some time ago. But in order to help the soldiers under her grandfather, the training experience of Feng De and the others was temporarily postponed. "Okay," Feng De quickly replied. After he was finished here, he would lead a team to do mercenary missions and try to make the Blazing Flame mercenary group and rank mercenary group. After breakfast, Leng Ruoxue and Feek went to the dungeon. As soon as she entered the dungeon, a pungent stench assaulted her nose. She covered her mouth and nose and looked around. The dungeon was much cleaner than she had imagined. But because it was dark, damp, and windless, the dim dungeon had a moldy smell. The two quickly walked to the cell where 7th Prince Li Yu was locked. Li Yu was still tied up into a dumpling and thrown on the ground very casually. Leng Ruoxue looked at the unconscious Li Yu and hit him with her spiritual power without hesitation. Ah, it hurts. Li Yu slowly woke up from his coma due to the pain. He looked around in confusion. Where am I? Why am I here? His head hurt. Leng Ruoxue, why are you here? When his gaze landed on Leng Ruoxue standing not far away, yesterday's memories flooded into his mind. Yesterday. Yesterday. What did you do? What did you do to me? How dare you? Li Yu roared hysterically. He found it unbelievable that what happened last night was true. How could he, the dignified 7th Prince, be tied up like a dumpling and locked in this godforsaken place? No, he didn't want to stay here. He wanted to go out. He was the 7th Prince, the talented 7th Prince. He couldn't stay here. Do you still think you are the noble 7th Prince? You are only my prisoner now. Leng Ruoxue smiled disdainfully. This 7th Prince might have good aptitude, but he was really not cut out to be an emperor because he couldn't discern situations clearly. What did you do to me? What about my mother? She won't allow you to treat me like this, and neither will Imperial Father. They won't let you go, the 7th Prince threatened. They can't even protect themselves, so they don't have the time to care about your life or death. Leng Ruoxue really didn't want to break this child's daydream, but she had no choice. She was an honest person. What do you mean? Could the Crown Prince have also attacked them? No, that's impossible. The Crown Prince isn't so bold. You're lying to me, aren't you? The 7th Prince stared at Leng Ruoxue expectantly, wanting to see the panic on her face when her lie was exposed. Unfortunately, the current emperor of the Eastern Lagoon Empire is Li Yuan, Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. No, you're lying to me. It's not true. He didn't want to believe Leng Ruoxue's words at all. He believed that the Crown Prince would want to get rid of him, but was it possible that the Crown Prince wouldn't even let their imperial father go? It's up to you to believe it or not. Leng Ruoxue had always looked down on people who refused to face reality. Let's go. Leng Ruoxue turned to Freak. Okay. Wait. Li Yu hurriedly called out to stop them just as they were about to leave the cell. What? Is there something else? Leng Ruoxue asked impatiently with a slight frown. I want to know how my mother is, Li Yu asked after some hesitation. What do you think will happen to her? Leng Ruoxue asked in return. Li Yuan might not kill his father, but he would never let that woman go. After speaking, Leng Ruoxue pulled Freak away and left the cell, leaving Li Yu in a daze. Swear, are we just going to lock him up like this? Freak asked in puzzlement after exiting the cell. He thought Swear would teach that annoying fellow a ruthless lesson. Chapter 147, Su Near's End, 2, There will be plenty of opportunities in the future. He can't run away, so what's the rush? Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. That Li Yu currently didn't have consciousness as a prisoner. Therefore, she planned to imprison him for a few days to grind his will before slowly dealing with him. Okay. By the way, Freak, didn't you drug Li Sun? Why could he still? Leng Ruoxue suddenly asked, her face full of curiosity. Yes, but that medicine has an effective period of at most 10 days, Freak explained with a devious smile. The effective period isn't important. What's important is the effect. 10 days is enough to strike a man's confidence. Oh, I see. But your medicine lasts too short. When I have time, I'll research it to create one that has a permanent effect, Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. Permanent? Who do you intend to give it to? Cold sweat rolled down Freak's forehead. But as long as it wasn't him, it didn't matter who it was. To whoever offends me, Leng Ruoxue said unscrupulously. Ah. Have I led Shuer astray? They spoke as they walked and soon arrived at the garden. Big brother Feng, Leng Ruoxue greeted them when she saw them playing chess. Shuer, where did you go? Leng Ruhan couldn't help asking when he saw his sister. The dungeon. Shuer, that kind of place isn't suitable for girls. Leng Ruhan frowned. Okay, I won't go there all the time. Leng Ruoxue nodded obediently. I will only go there occasionally to teach Li Yu a lesson. Shuer, what do you plan to do with Li Yu? Leng Ruhan asked curiously. Of course, I'll give him a taste of his own medicine. He has to try all the treatments I received back then, Leng Ruoxue said fiercely. She said that she would avenge the silly Ruoxue, so of course she couldn't go back on her words. Shuer, it doesn't matter how you torture him, but Big Brother thinks it's best if you don't kill him, Leng Ruhan suggested. After all, Li Yu was a member of the imperial family, and Leng Ruhan didn't want anyone to make an issue out of it. Even though no one knew that Li Yu had been locked up in the general's mansion for now, it was hard to guarantee that the news wouldn't leak over time. Moreover, this could be considered a scandal of the imperial family. Who knew when the imperial family would use this as an excuse to fall out with them? Big brother, don't worry. I won't kill him. Leng Ruoxue calmed him. She would kill Su Nei'er instead if she wanted to kill anyone. Although Li Yu was despicable, he didn't deserve death. That's good. He felt relieved upon hearing his sister say this. Li Yu should be taught a lesson for treating his precious sister like that before. Big brother, continue playing. I'm going out with Freak, Leng Ruoxue said. Don't come back too late, Leng Ruhan reminded worriedly. Yes sir. Leng Ruoxue left the general's mansion with Freak. Shuer, where are we going? Freak was very curious. Is Shuer going on a date with me? I'm so happy. I want to visit the restaurant. Oh, let's go then. He wasn't too satisfied with Shuer's answer, but it was still acceptable. After walking for a few streets, Leng Ruoxue and Freak arrived at a not too bustling street. The restaurant she was going to open was located at the innermost part of this street. The location wasn't good, but it was very suitable for her. Moreover, she had bought all the shops around the restaurant. She planned to build the restaurant into a one-stop catering company open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, from soup to nuts. She believed that with the help of this restaurant, this street would absolutely become the most bustling in all of Phoenix City in the future. Leng Ruoxue and Freak arrived at the entrance of the restaurant. After renovations, the entire restaurant had become grand, noble, and elegant. When they saw the words, Prosperity Pavilion on the golden signboard, they were about to enter the shop, but someone stopped them. I'm sorry, you too. The restaurant hasn't officially opened yet, an ordinary-looking man in his 30s said very politely after stopping them. Let us take a look first, Leng Ruoxue said. I'm sorry, Mississippi. You should wait until we are officially open for business, the man said patiently. He was not so stunned by Leng Ruoxue's beauty that he lost his bearings. But his heart was racing because he could see that these two stunning people were either rich or noble and not people he could afford to offend. But it was his duty. If he really let them in, it would be a dereliction of duty. Alright, we won't make things difficult for you then, Leng Ruoxue said understandingly and pulled Freak away to leave. Shuer, are we leaving just like that? Freak couldn't help asking. Otherwise? Leng Ruoxue raised her eyebrows. Not everyone among the soldiers had seen her before, and she didn't want to reveal her identity. Nothing. Let's go, Freak said after some thought. Hey, Freak. Is that Su Nei'er? Leng Ruoxue looked at the gorgeously dressed woman in the distance with uncertainty. Where? He didn't see anyone. She turned around that corner. Let's follow and take a look, Leng Ruoxue suggested because she was too curious. Su Nei'er wasn't alone. There was a young man beside her, and he looked familiar. Okay. The two of them walked quickly, caught up with Su Nei'er and the young man, and followed them into a civilian house. Leng Ruoxua got Rise to cast an invisibility spell on them and followed them directly into the house. After entering the house, Leng Ruoxua and Freak found chairs to sit down on, while Su Nei'er and the man directly sat on the bed. Sitting in the chair, Leng Ruoxua carefully examined the young man. This person looked a little like Big Brother Feng. He was more handsome, but his temperament is much worse. Moreover, there was a brutal aura between his brows and two obvious dark circles under his eyes. One look and she could tell that he was someone who overindulged. Nei'er, my darling little darling, you haven't come to look for Big Brother for a long time. The man pulled Su Nei'er into his arms impatiently and began to caress her. Chapter 148, Su Nei'er's End, 3, Big Brother Qingran, you're so naughty. Don't be so impatient. Let's get down to business first. Su Nei'er smiled coquettishly and avoided the man's advances while hiding the disgust in her eyes. Qingran. Feng Qingran. No wonder he resembles Big Brother Feng. So he is Big Brother Feng's cousin. But what business does Su Nei'er have with him? Leng Ruoxua couldn't help thinking. Business isn't as important as us, the man named Feng Qingran said indifferently, and his hands moved even more vigorously. Big Brother Qingran, Nei'er will be angry if you continue being like this. Su Nei'er's beautiful face became stern as she pretended to be angry. Okay. Tell me, my dear Nei'er. Big Brother is listening. Feng Qingran coaxed. Big Brother Qingran, let me finish. You definitely won't regret it. Su Nei'er smiled triumphantly with a lewd expression on her face. Really? Nei'er, if your words don't satisfy me, just wait to accept my punishment obediently. Feng Qingran said meaningfully. Big Brother Qingran, you have to believe Nei'er. When has Nei'er ever lied to you? Su Nei'er acted coquettishly with a smile as beautiful as a flower. Nei'er, tell me quickly. Feng Qingran said anxiously. Big Brother Qingran, Nei'er knows you like beautiful women, so I want to recommend one to you, Su Nei'er said mysteriously. Who? Is there anyone more beautiful than Nei'er? Feng Qingran lied through his teeth. He was the best at coaxing women. Humph. I knew it the moment I heard it. Big Brother Qingran is just coaxing me. Everyone knows that Shui Xinran is more beautiful than me. Su Nei'er pouted her pink lips in dissatisfaction. Shui Xinran had always been ranked on top of her, and now there was Leng Ruoxua. She was so pissed off. How can Shui Xinran compare to my Nei'er? Feng Qingran boasted shamelessly, not even batting an eyelid. Shui Xinran was beautiful, but she looked down on him. Big Brother Qingran, you should have heard of Leng Ruoxua, right? Su Nei'er probed. That simpleton. Of course I've heard of her. I was even scolded by the first elder because of her. Feng Qingran's gaze suddenly became vicious when he heard the name Leng Ruoxua. Humph, I wouldn't have been grounded if it wasn't for her. Big Brother Qingran, do you want revenge? Su Nei'er asked gently. Of course. He hated Leng Ruoxua and Feng Moran to the core now. Moreover, Feng Moran was his greatest rival, and they belonged to the same group. Big Brother Qingran, you can take revenge as long as you think of a way to make Leng Ruoxua your woman, Su Nei'er said with a light smile, her eyes full of scheming. Humph, as long as Leng Ruoxua loses her virginity, Yichen won't be able to escape from my palm. I don't want that simpleton, Feng Qingran said disdainfully. She was still a simpleton in his eyes, even if she was already clear-headed. Big Brother Qingran, you're so ill-informed. Leng Ruoxua is now the most popular genius on the Ling Feng continent. Moreover, she's even more beautiful than Shui Xinran. Su Nei'er explained softly. Really? Feng Qingran was in disbelief. Were they talking about the same person? But he was only released yesterday after being locked up for so long. How could he be so well informed? Would Nei'er lie to you about something like this? Leng Ruoxue is now known as the #1 beauty on the Ling Feng continent, and even Shui Xinran has to step aside. Su Nair pouted aggrievedly. My dear Nair, it's not that Big Brother doesn't believe you. You know that I was grounded. Isn't it normal that I don't know about these things since the First Elder only cancelled the confinement order on me yesterday? In order to coax the beauty, Feng Qingran didn't care at all about how embarrassing it was to be grounded. Okay, I'll forgive Big Brother Qingran then, Su Nair said understandingly. That's my good Nair. Come, let Big Brother kiss you, Feng Qingran said with lust. Big Brother Qingran, wait. Su Nair dodged, feeling disgusted. Nair, is that Leng Ruoxue really as beautiful as you said? Feng Qingran asked doubtfully as he embraced Su Nair. Of course. Nair has never seen a woman as beautiful as her. Su Nair said with slight jealousy, her beautiful little face fuming with anger. Nair, do you want Leng Ruoxue to become my woman because of the 7th prince? Feng Qingran asked with some jealousy. Seeing the obvious jealousy on her face, he actually believed her words. But he felt a little uncomfortable thinking that Su Nair might be doing this for the 7th prince. Of course not. I have had nothing to do with the 7th prince for quite some time. I only came up with this idea to help Big Brother Qingran take revenge, Su Nair said very sincerely. Why would I do this for the 7th prince? I'm doing it all for the sake of that heavenly man. Just thinking about how that man would one day belong to her excited her so much that her heart itched like a cat was scratching it. My darling Nair is so considerate of Big Brother. I am so happy. What does Nair want me to do? Feng Qingran asked with a perverted look. He wasn't a fool. How could he have become the young master of the Feng family otherwise? He didn't believe that Su Nair didn't have any motives and only wanted to help him seek revenge. We just need to find a chance to make her become Big Brother Qingran's woman. At that time, it will be impossible for her not to marry you. As long as she becomes your woman, won't General Leng side with you? With the Leng family, Big Brother Qingran's position as the young master will be even more unshakable, Su Nair analyzed. She had been having this illicit affair with Feng Qingran for so long that he knew this man's ambition very well. Moreover, the Leng family's status was now rising, and the family's momentum was strong. She didn't believe that Feng Qingran wouldn't be moved. Nair is right. But I don't know Leng Ruoxue. If I ask her out, she might not agree. At this point, Feng Qingran felt a little awkward. Nair's proposal was indeed tempting, but there were no conditions for it to be realized. Chapter 149, Su Nair's End. For Big Brother Qingran, you can hold a banquet in the name of the Feng family and then ask Feng Moran to invite her, Su Nair suggested. She had already thought of an idea. Nair, you're so smart, Feng Qingran said happily. Given the relationship between Feng Moran and Leng Ruoxue, he didn't believe that she wouldn't give him any face. It's all for Big Brother Qingran. Su Nair acted coquettishly and shyly. My Nair is so considerate of Big Brother. I should reward you well. Then he threw Su Nair onto the bed. Sitting on the chair listening to their conspiracy, Freak was trembling with rage. If Schwer hadn't calmed him down, he would have stepped forward to kill this adulterous couple. How dare they plot against my Schwer? They really don't want their lives anymore. I won't let them off. Leng Ruoxue dragged the angry Freak out of the house and into the yard. Freak, don't be angry. They won't have a good ending, Leng Ruoxue coaxed. In fact, she was also angry, but she had always been relatively calm. Moreover, she had to think of a good way to kill them. Otherwise, wouldn't it be letting them off too lightly? Schwer, wait for me. I'll be back soon. Freak turned around and entered the room. Freak? Could it be that he wants to see some steamy action? Leng Ruoxue guessed randomly. A few minutes later, Freak emerged contentedly. Freak, is the show over so soon? Leng Ruoxue said doubtfully. This Feng Qingran is too useless. He looks tall and strong, but it's just for show. What's over so soon? Freak looked at Leng Ruoxue in confusion. Steamy action. Swear, I'm a pure child. How can you suspect that I went to see that? There were a few black lines on Freak's forehead, and his little face was slightly red. Why did you go in then? Leng Ruoxue was curious. Didn't he leave me alone because he was afraid I would see it? I added something to liven things up, Freak said very implicitly, his face a little unnatural. Do you want him to? Leng Ruoxue wanted to laugh at the thought that he might do this. It would be a huge blow to any man if he suddenly couldn't perform at the critical moment. No. How could I do that? Freak believed that he was a very kind child, so he wouldn't ruin others' enjoyment. No? What is it then? Leng Ruoxue couldn't think of anything interesting. I gave them something that would make them unable to stop, Freak said mysteriously, his face saying, I'm kind. Could it be? Leng Ruoxue was speechless, and cold sweat dripped down her forehead non-stop. Freak really has abnormal tastes. Tell me, why do you have that thing? Leng Ruoxue suddenly remembered something and grabbed Freak's clothes to interrogate him. Muli gave this to me for protection. Freak betrayed him without hesitation. Do you need this for protection? Leng Ruoxue glared at him. Do you think I'm a 3-year-old kid? I'm not that easy to fool. Yes. Not only can you protect yourself, but you can also punish bad people, Freak said hurriedly. Swear, you have to trust me. I won't use this thing to do bad things, Freak promised with a very sincere expression on his face. Fine. I'll believe you this once. Let's go back. Leng Ruoxue said in disgust. The sound coming from the room was a little piercing. After Leng Ruoxue and Freak returned to the general's mansion, they went straight to the garden. Feng De and the others were preparing dinner. Miss, you're back just in time. Dinner is about done, Feng De said when he saw Leng Ruoxue. What are we having for dinner tonight? Leng Ruoxue couldn't help asking. It looks like we're going to have hot pot again. Didn't we just have it last night? Hot pot. Big Brother Wang made it for us to try, Feng De explained. Are we going to be guinea pigs again? But it seems like it should be pretty good, Leng Ruoxue thought. When everything was ready, Leng Ruoxue and the others found seats to sit down. But everyone just looked at each other, and no one touched their chopsticks. Why aren't you eating? Leng Ruoxue looked at the big fellows curiously. Miss, please eat first. As your subordinates, we only dare to start eating after you, Lin Yuan said ingratiatingly. But his words obviously attracted several disdainful gazes. It looks good. Everyone, hurry up and eat. Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Do these guys really think that I wouldn't know that they obviously want me to be the first guinea pig? But what they didn't know was that seasoning was more important than hot pot. Seeing Leng Ruoxue and Freak eating non-stop, Feng De and the others swallowed their saliva and started eating as well. To be honest, it was not that they didn't want to give Big Brother Wang and the others face, but they had just learned how to make hot pot yesterday. If you're worried, you can just swish it, Leng Ruoxue kindly reminded. Hee, if Miss isn't worried, what are we worried about? Feng De said awkwardly. Then eat quickly. Eat more, Leng Ruoxue said with concern. Just like that, everyone ate the most from the spicy hot pot in order to show their guts. In the end, the next day, everyone except Leng Ruoxue, Yi Chen, Leng Ruhan, and Feng Moran had stomachaches. Miss, why did nothing happen to you? Feng De said aggrievedly with a crying face as he dragged his weak body in front of Leng Ruoxue and the others. He had had diarrhea for the past 3 days. We have good character. Leng Ruoxue smiled sweetly. Diarrhea for 3 days only is already showing mercy. Yes, it's character. Freak approved of Schwer's words. Big Brother Feng, please continue. Leng Ruoxua turned to Feng Moran. Okay. Shuer, Su Nair and Feng Qingran died. They died together. Feng Moran told Shuer and the others the news he had heard with a slightly unnatural expression. Chapter 150, Su Nair's End, 5, Leng Ruoxua and Freak exchanged glances, but neither of them spoke. How did they die? Feng De asked curiously. How could these two die together? Overindulgence, Feng Moran said uncomfortably. Ha, I knew that Su Nair wasn't a good person. But isn't it a little too easy for her to die like this? Feng De said with a laugh. He had never had a good impression of Su Nair. Moreover, that woman was their young lattice enemy, so hearing the news of that woman's death only made him feel less resentful. Big brother Feng, how did the Feng family react? Leng Ruoxua asked curiously. The two big families would never allow such a scandal to spread. The Feng family sealed the news immediately after finding out about this. However, it still spread. Probably at least half of the people on the entire Ling Feng continent know about it now, Feng Moran said helplessly. Good things didn't come out the door, while bad things spread far and wide. This scandal spread faster than they had imagined, practically at the speed of light. This is the celebrity effect. Leng Ruoxua exclaimed. Shuer, the Feng family will hold a funeral for Feng Qingran 3 days later, Feng Moran continued. The first elder even asked him to invite Shuer, but he really couldn't bring himself to ask. After something like this happened, they still want to hold a funeral? Leng Ruoxua said in disbelief. It's enough to bury him quietly. Why do they still need to hold a funeral? Don't they find it embarrassing enough? Shuer, you don't understand. It's precisely because of this that they have to make it a big deal. After all, one of them is the young master of the Feng family, and the other is the most favored young lady of the Su family. The Su family and the Feng family can use the two of them being in love to cover up this scandal. If they quietly settle the two of them, it will really be an affair, and more people will laugh at them, Leng Ruhan explained. Oh. People in this world really have different ideas. In fact, Leng Ruoxua thought that it would be better to deal with this matter quietly. After all, no scandal could withstand the test of time. After a long time, no one would care about such things. But for people like the Feng family and the Su family who were so ostentatious, no one could forget them even if they wanted to. Shuer, the first elder invited you to the funeral 3 days later, Feng Moran said after some hesitation. Oh, don't worry, big brother Feng. I will go, Leng Ruoxua answered quickly. She would think of a way to go even if he didn't invite her. It would be a waste not to watch the excitement. Moreover, there should be many influential families attending, so it was time for her to go and recognize people. But, Feng Moran was a little worried. Big brother Feng, don't worry. I won't bully them, Leng Ruoxua teased. Shuer, I'm not worried that you will bully them. I'm just afraid that they will pester you, Feng Moran explained. I'll be there. Don't worry, Freak promised. With me around, I'll kill whoever dares to pester Shuer without mercy. And drug them too. 3 days later. Leng Ruoxua, Yi Chen, Feng De, and Lin Yuan came to the Feng family's main residence to attend the funeral. In a corner outside the Feng family residence. There are so many people. Looking at the people entering and exiting, Lin Yuan was surprised. How many people did the Feng family invite? They were indeed worthy of being a top aristocratic family. They aren't just guests from the Feng family. There are also guests from the Su family, Leng Ruoxua explained. In order to confirm that the two of them were absolutely in love, they organized their funerals together. Of course, they were also buried together. However, who knew how many people would believe their deceitful method? Miss, when should we go in? Feng De was a little puzzled. Why isn't Miss going in? What's there to see here? What's the hurry? It's not time yet. Leng Ruoxua glared at Fengde with displeasure. Oh. Miss is so fierce. Let's go in. Leng Ruoxua said after looking around and seeing that almost everyone had arrived. With the invitation card, Leng Ruoxua and the others were respectfully led into the inner hall by the servants. They found a random seat and sat down. Are you Leng Ruoxua? An extremely unfriendly voice sounded in Leng Ruoxua's and the others' ears. After hearing this voice, Leng Ruoxua raised her eyes slightly and saw a young woman standing in front of her. This woman was dressed in bright red, had a face as beautiful as a peach blossom, a sexy body, and a proud temperament. She was staring at her with some ill intent. Upon seeing this situation, Leng Ruoxua was at a loss for words. Who is this woman? Did I get shot while lying down? Don't tell me I have a face that invites trouble. Leng Ruoxua, I'm talking to you. Are you deaf? The woman shouted in displeasure. The woman's arrogant scream immediately attracted the attention of everyone in the inner hall. Everyone looked at them in bewilderment. So that's Leng Ruoxua. She's even more beautiful than the rumors say, someone whispered to the person beside him, stunned. Yes. I just don't know what this princess of the Yi family wants to do. How can Leng Ruoxua be easy to push around? The person beside him answered softly. The crowd gossiped among themselves in whispers, but most of them wanted to watch a good show. Go and ask your elder sister to come back. Leng Ruoxua isn't someone she can offend, Hua Qing whispered to Yi Shao in a corner of the inner hall. She has always been capricious. It's not something I can manage, Yi Shao said a little lamely. He didn't want to meddle in Yi Mei's affairs. Seeing Yi Shao couldn't even be bothered with Yi Mei, Hua Qing didn't care about it as an outsider. Anyway, Yi Mei's life and death had nothing to do with him. So, you are talking to me? Do I know you? Leng Ruoxua slowly raised her head after a while. She could hear the discussions of the crowd, but she didn't expect this woman to be from the Yi family. I am Yi Mei, the princess of the Yi family, Yi Mei said proudly. What does it have to do with me who you are to the Yi family? Leng Ruoxua looked at Yi Mei in confusion. What a narcissistic woman. Chapter 151, The First Elder's Condition, 1, You are the future daughter-in-law of a side branch of the Yi family. How dare you be rude to the eldest young lady of the Yi family's main branch? You really can't differentiate between who's higher and who's lower, Yi Mei roared with displeasure. She very self-righteously believed that her status was incomparably noble in front of Leng Ruoxua. Am the future daughter-in-law of the Yi family? Leng Ruoxua looked at Freak with a puzzled face. No, the Yi family has nothing to do with me, Freak said indifferently without even blinking. You. How dare you, the lowly son of a concubine, look down on the family. Yi Mei's anger rose, and she screamed without thinking. But her words instantly offended many people present. What's wrong with being the child of a concubine? Could it be that Miss Yi really thinks that you're the biological daughter just because you were raised by the main wife? Leng Ruoxua said mockingly. Yi Mei was trembling with anger. She would never have imagined that she would be humiliated instead of humiliating Leng Ruoxua. Moreover, she couldn't figure out how Leng Ruoxua knew that her background, which she had been hiding, had always been a thorn in her heart. Miss Yi, before you want to cause trouble for others, you should weigh your own strength first. Otherwise, you will only be inviting humiliation, Leng Ruoxua said with some annoyance as her cold gaze gently swept across the crowd. She really had enough of these women. Yi Mei was so angry that she stammered speechlessly and her chest kept heaving up and down. The first elder of the Feng family is here, someone shouted. Everyone's eyes immediately turned to the main seat, and no one cared about the fighting between women anymore. Hee, thank you all for taking time out to send off a pair of lovers from our Feng family and Su family. I am the first elder of the Feng family, and I am standing in for the acting patriarch because he is in too much grief over the loss of his beloved son. Therefore, I am fully responsible for today's funeral. The first elder of the Feng family walked to the front of the main seat and said a few polite words. Then his narrow eyes looked around the inner hall with a restrained gaze. After his gaze met Leng Ruoxu's, it flashed slightly, and he nodded gently. When his gaze turned to Yi Mei, who was in a bright red dress, it turned dark and unclear. "Brother Yi, why did your daughter come here in red?" Hua Yi, sitting beside Yi Ming, gloated. Even though the Feng and Su families were treating the funeral as a happy event, coming here in red clothes was not giving face to the host at all. Wasn't this an obvious insult to the host? He saw the first elder's expression change just now. Didn't they say that this is a happy occasion? Since it's a happy occasion, of course you have to dress brightly, Yi Ming said nonchalantly. It was already very polite of the Yi family to be willing to come. Who dared to say any irresponsible remarks? Brother Yi is wise. Hua Yi obediently closed his mouth and stopped talking. After a series of formalities, it was time for the burial. Feng Qingran and Su Nea would be buried together in the Feng family's graveyard. However, such an incident wouldn't give them a good position, so their burial location was rather remote. "Miss, is it over?" Feng De, standing at the back of the crowd, couldn't help asking. "I don't know." This was Leng Ruoxu's first time attending a funeral in this other world, so how could she understand these things? "It's not over yet." Hua Qing walked over. "What else?" Leng Ruoxua asked lightly. "The banquet is the most important thing," Hua Qing explained. The funeral was just for show since they weren't important people anyway. But the banquet was different. It was the best time for families to socialize and form connections with each other. "Okay." Leng Ruoxua nodded. "Hopefully, something interesting will happen." She only came because she wanted the world to be in chaos after all. "Ruoxua, why did you leave the Heavenly Phoenix Academy?" Hua Qing complained with a face full of disappointment. "What does this have to do with you?" Freak retorted coldly. Don't even think about having any ideas about my schwer. "I'm asking Ruoxua, not you," Hua Qing said good-naturedly. He knew that Yichen didn't like him. In fact, he didn't like Yichen either. "Schwer," Freak at schwer aggrievedly, his eyes looking as though they would rain at any moment. "I didn't have much more to learn at the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, so I left. But I'm still considered a student of the academy," Leng Ruoxua explained while also rolling her eyes at Freak. "This damn Freak is threatening me again." "Then can I still look for you to spar?" Hua Qing said it with certainty even though it was a question. "It's best not to. You will only cause me trouble." Leng Ruoxua refused directly without giving him any face. She even looked at Yi Mei meaningfully. She hated trouble and rejected the source of all trouble. "Don't worry. I'll handle it," Hua Qing said with a wry smile. "That's your business," Leng Ruoxua said lightly. "Elder sister Yi, am I right?" Not far away, Shui Xinran looked at the two happily chatting and said to Yi Mei beside her with raging jealousy. "What's so good about Leng Ruoxua? Why does big brother Hua Qing like her?" Yi Mei said indignantly. Leng Ruoxua had just revealed her background, so she hated her to the core. "That vixen is the best at seducing men," Shui Xinran said with disdain. Ever since she accidentally heard that the Hua family once proposed marriage to the Leng family, she had been unable to remain calm. The current Leng Ruoxua had already become a thorn in her flesh. Poor Leng Ruoxua. She didn't know that she was being treated as an imaginary enemy. If she knew, she would definitely run away from the big trouble, Hua Qing, preferably as far away as possible. "Everyone, please come with this old man to the main hall for a meal," the Feng family's first elder said with a face full of gratitude after the burial. Leng Ruoxua followed everyone to the main hall. They found their seats and sat down. After sitting down, Leng Ruoxua realized that the Feng family had actually arranged their seats with the members of the 5 great families and the imperial families. There were 10 people sitting at the table. In addition to the 4 of them, there was Feng Moran, Hua Qing, Shui Xinran, Yi Xiao, and Yi Mei. Leng Ruoxue didn't recognize the other person. Chapter 152, The First Elder's Condition, 2, Big Brother Feng, why did you arrange for us to sit at the same table? Leng Ruoxue asked Feng Moran softly. Big Brother Feng should know that I don't like getting involved with these people, right? This was the First Elder's idea. He said that we young people should interact more, Feng Moran said helplessly. In fact, his eldest uncle had already been controlled by the First Elder. Now, everything in the entire Feng family was under the First Elder's control except for his grandfather, who was in seclusion. Different paths lead to different plans, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. They were not on the same channel, so there was no way to communicate. Swear, the dishes are actually all your favorite, Freak said from Leng Ruoxue's other side as he watched the dishes being served one after another. Oh. Leng Ruoxue nodded and looked at Feng Moran. Is the Feng family's First Elder showing me goodwill? Everyone, thank you for gracing us with your presence today. This old man would like to propose a toast to everyone. The Feng family's First Elder drained his cup in a forthright manner. First Elder is too polite, someone said. Yes. While everyone was eating, Leng Ruoxue, who was sitting at the neighboring table, quietly sized up the First Elder of the Feng family. This First Elder had good facial features, looked kind, and was slightly chubby. He was not tall, but the shrewdness in his eyes couldn't be concealed. Moreover, this First Elder was a spiritual supremacy. She had long heard that the First Elder of the Feng family didn't care about anything. But for some reason, after Big Brother Feng returned to the Feng family, the First Elder, who had always been inactive, suddenly became aggressive. First, he grounded the young master of the Feng family, and then he seized the power of the acting patriarch. No one knew what the First Elder's motive was, but they heard that the First Elder treated Big Brother Feng quite well. Miss Leng, are you not satisfied with the food today? The Feng family's First Elder walked over after sensing Leng Ruoxue's scrutinizing gaze. Of course not. I'm very satisfied. Leng Ruoxue was instead displeased with the people at her table. But Miss Leng didn't even eat, the First Elder said very honestly, and his eyes flashed. This is a cunning little fox. Hee hee, I almost forgot to eat after seeing First Elder's heroic appearance, Leng Ruoxue said nonsense without the slightest embarrassment. Miss Leng is really good with words, the First Elder said with a smile, and his already small eyes narrowed even more. Thank you for the compliment, First Elder. Miss Leng, please enjoy. I won't disturb you any further. Then the First Elder returned to his seat. Leng Ruoxue looked at the table full of dishes. She picked up her chopsticks and was just about to take a piece of fish when it was snatched away. When she wanted to take another piece, it was snatched away again. What do you mean by this? Leng Ruoxue questioned directly with a cold face, feeling very displeased. I don't mean anything. I just want to eat. Yi Mei looked at Leng Ruoxue cockily. Swear, I'll get you a piece. Let's not bicker with a pig. Freak quickly coaxed her and placed a piece of meat on her plate. That's right. There's no need to make a fuss with a pig. We have to let the pig eat more to fatten it up for the kill, Leng Ruoxue said mockingly. Ha, ha. Her words made Feng De laugh uncontrollably. After hearing what Leng Ruoxue said, the others held back their laughter for the sake of the Yi family's face, but their trembling shoulders betrayed them. Damn it! Who are you calling a pig? Yi Meihua roared. Was Leng Ruoxue looking for trouble? Don't you know? Is there a need to ask? Leng Ruoxue asked in return as she looked at the plate full of food in front of Yi Mei. Miss Leng, isn't it too much to call a girl a pig? Yi Ming, who was sitting at the neighboring table, said with some displeasure. Father, Leng Ruoxue is finding trouble with me. You have to uphold justice for your daughter. Yi Mei became full of confidence when she saw her father backing her up. Is this a classic case of the guilty suing the other party first? There are so many pairs of eyes watching. Everyone knows who the one finding trouble is. There's no need to argue, Len Ruoxue said calmly, not paying attention to this father and daughter's acting at all. Despicable people doing bad things was not worth mentioning. Len Ruoxue, do you mean I've wronged you? Yi Mei said aggrievedly. Miss Yi, I don't mean anything. But you can continue if you're not afraid of embarrassment. I won't entertain you. Len Ruoxue said coldly with disdain in her eyes. Let's go back. Len Ruoxue stood up, glanced at the first elder, and then turned to leave. She came to see a joke, not to be treated as one. Okay. Freak and the other two quickly stood up and left with Len Ruoxue. Shuer, wait for me. Feng Moran chased after her. Shuer, I'm so sorry. Feng Moran caught up with Len Ruoxue and the others at the door. His face was full of guilt. I shouldn't have gotten Shuer to come. Big brother Feng, what are you saying? This isn't your fault. The Yi family wants to find trouble with me, Len Ruoxue comforted. I'll go back with you. Feng Moran looked at Len Ruoxue. Big brother Feng, you are the host, Len Ruoxue reminded. How could the host be as casual as a guest? It doesn't matter. I don't care. Big brother Feng, Feng Qingran is dead, and you might become the Feng family's young master, Len Ruoxue said with realization. In her opinion, the first elder's actions had already explained his intentions. Shuer, I'm not interested in becoming the young master of the Feng family. I swore to follow you forever, Feng Moran explained anxiously. Big brother Feng, I understand. But I really don't mind you becoming the Feng family's young master, Len Ruoxue expressed her thoughts. But I really don't want to be the young master, Feng Moran said with a slight headache. In fact, he vaguely knew what the first elder was thinking, but he had been pretending to be stupid. Big brother Feng, think about it carefully. Well, go back first, Len Ruoxue advised, not wanting him to regret it in the future. Okay, you go back first. I'll be back tomorrow, Feng Moran said quickly. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.